Everybody, happy Thursday. Welcome to the late night crew. Thanks for joining in. Let me get the chat open here and see who all's in the house. Hang on one second. Meanwhile, feel free to say hi while I pull this up. All right. Can y'all hear me okay? Terrence High Top says, I really like these late night streams. Thank you, Terrence. Point Break, what's up? MTBRS, don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but the market could react to one of the Rothschilds dying recently. Did that happen? Oh my gosh. Michael Wan, ready to go. Got your beer in hand. I have mine as well, friend. Get your cervezas, get your drink of choice tonight. Let's fucking have some fun. Barry Electronics, good evening. Dan Spencer, held open by match 6. What time? Let's see, Dan, you're about 2:30 in the morning, right? You're in UK. MTBR is in Scotland too. Over in the a little bit more east than myself. What's up, Walt? Dream of Stuff, good evening. Lou's Boobs back in the house. What's going on, Mr. Boobs? Should I Mr. Boobs? Manuel, good evening. Luigi, what's up? Happy birthday, Marines. Shout out to my fellow service members. Not a Marine. I can't claim that honor. I was just fixing airplanes. But respect to all of you and happy birthday. Javi, what's going on, brother? Bob, good evening to you. And Tom's River, New Jersey. BioLife Hemp, what's up? Just arrested by Angelina and brought here. Where'd she wrangle you from, BioLife? Good day to be an ape and AMC, Barry says. Yep, I hopefully some of y'all got to catch my market wrap-up video. I always try and, everyone always asks, why don't you do a market wrap-up video? It seems so easy, right? Just turn on the camera for 10 minutes, but it ends up always taking me 2 hours. I just barely got that damn thing done right before we came on live and stuffed a little bit of food in my face. I know I said at 3 o'clock that I was going to eat something. I just ate my first meal of the day at 7 p.m. Lordy. Cranking out that shit. Those videos. I'm doing well, Thor. Thank you. Justin, good evening. Oh, you're in Scavenger's chat. Okay. If he shows up here, I can throw him an invite too. All right. So while I was busy filming that market wrap-up video, I just saw this Elon Musk. Let's see if I can center this for you guys. Elon Musk tells Twitter staff he sold Tesla stock to save the social network. I want to see what this is all about. Did you guys see this one already? Elon told Twitter staff in an all-hands meeting he sold Tesla shares to save the social network. How much, Elon, does it say in here? Among other things, Musk wants Twitter to get half of its revenue from subscribers and become less reliant on advertising revenue. he sold, good Lord, $4 billion worth of Tesla. According to SEC filings published Tuesday, I did not catch those either. The batch of shares he sold amounted to 19.5 million more of shares of Tesla. Let me see what Tesla stock is looking like. Eat less and healthy, right, Tyler? I do try and do that. It's not uncommon for me to have one meal a day, as long as I have something healthy to cook. Tesla 177. It went, I mean, that was the low in the past couple days when he was selling. You can see that rundown in the price. And back up to 190 today. And just at that one on the weekly, it's really, really close to the 200 EMA. I might not mind picking up some Tesla a little bit in this range, but I was really targeting around 150 to 175. Christian Princess, good evening. Turtle, you are welcome. I always try and answer as many of the comments on my videos as I can, especially like right after I put them out. After that, the next day or 2 days later, it gets a little tougher. Musky Doge back in the house. Yucca Frita, I had some, as I was saying earlier in the live stream earlier today, you guys know I'm not one to waste money. And in this inflationary environment that we're in, I'm always looking for the deals when I'm grocery shopping. So I picked up some, not ribeye, not this week. It was some inexpensive flat steak, top round or something like that. The nice thing about those is you don't have to think about them a whole lot. Just season it, cook it for a couple, sear it for a couple minutes on each side, and you're ready to eat in about 5 minutes. Not quite as tasty as my preferred ribeye, but it was cheap and it was quick. I had 2 of those, and I'm good for the rest of the evening. BioLife Hemp says, I think the best news of the day is Tiger Global Main Fund down 54% year to date. They took a huge loss on FTX. That sounds lovely to me. Let me see if I can find that. I bet that's carefully hidden on CNBC. Yeah, no mention of that here. Wonder why. United gives pilots 5% raises early, citing return to profitability. I was talking to my friend about airlines this weekend, and talking about pay and other things. The airlines really. He's a pilot for a major airline. A lot of them ask the pilots to take pay cuts during COVID or do furloughs. They let some people go. I said, how's that whole situation going? If you weren't with me when I was talking about this yesterday, he said, well, I'll just let you know, all of these, when you see an airline saying that the flight is delayed for mechanical, it's delayed because in reality, the pilot or the crew, they just don't have enough. They still have not fixed that, but they don't want to admit because they'd have to give you a refund. If it was, if it's mechanical, they can delay it or, push you off to another flight. If it's a crew issue, that's something that you can demand a refund for. So they're basically lying to you. Audio plug. Have I looked at the link? JWS. I have not. There's a lot of people posting gutless wonders. I call them audio plug. It's slow days for these small channels. I really don't care what they're saying. A lot of these guys think they're posting stuff that I haven't already talked about here, so I don't really care. What am I drinking tonight, Chad? It is a Sierra Nevada Imperial IPA. Is it true that FTX said it was holding AMC shares? So there were, that is a good question. Someone asked me about the the AMC derivative shares on FTX. So you could buy a crypto version of AMC on GME. From what I understand, from what I saw on that exchange, those were not real shares, but that is a good point. They might, or they were supposed to be backed up by real shares, right? I have not looked into that deeply since they very first launched that product, so don't know. I would assume if they had a crypto equivalent, it should be backed up by real shares. That I didn't think about that earlier. I'll dig into that later tonight. For all the brainiacs that think, wow, Tony Denaro is an actor, let me expose him. Tony Denaro has a brand name to prevent psycho stalkers from posting his photos of his house and looking up all his family history. Hello, brainiacs. This is no secret. Maybe you should watch the channel. I've talked about me doing movies for 18 months. Welcome to the club, dumbasses. All the stalkers and the desperate clout chasers are revealing themselves, and it is a beautiful thing. Now you guys know who the real grifters and stalkers are. Everyone who's a regular viewer of this channel, this was no new information. That's why I've lost basically 0 subscribers to this. All they're doing is embarrassing themselves. You would think someone like John Wick Sniping or Ape Father, who've been outed on social media, had cops show up at their house, have their bank accounts hacked. You would think these guys would have enough human decency not to go and try and expose somebody's private information that they were trying to keep private to prevent psycho stalkers. But no, these guys are such dumbasses that they just forgot what happened to them a couple weeks or a couple months ago. That's how stupid these fools are. I am ignoring them. I told Scarlett a year and a half ago, I was like, we're going to find out who the stalkers are. I don't know what day. So we just laugh about it. Chad, okay, let me check what Tindy sent me. Thank you, Chad. I forgot to check my Twitter before I came on. All right, Gus says, any thoughts on Teddy Zane claiming Trump might announce he's running for House Speaker? What? I know I haven't watched any Teddy Zane videos recently, but that is a new one. I would think that if Trump was going to announce anything, that it would be that he's running for president. And if that were the case, that Tindy, if you're watching, I'm going to shoot you a photo here. If that were the case, that he ran for president, then DWAC could definitely have a nice big run up. And if he doesn't announce something interesting, then DWAC's going back down to 15 to 16. DWAC still could run, Yuka, absolutely. If there's an announcement from Trump saying he's running, I could easily see it. going 30, 40, who knows? I mean, people get excited about stuff like that. The problem with DWAC, as I was saying earlier today, is they still are having issues bringing this SPAC merger thing to a close. And that would be, if you make a profit on DWAC, take it. If you're in it and you get a Trump run up, it's not something that, well, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much of a gambler you are. If they get that merger thing finished, then DWAC is going to do fine. But if they can't close that out, then the future of that company, not well. Pantheon is, oh no, Yuka tricking me? I did send Pantheon an invite. You guys pulling my leg. You got me, Andrew. Aaron, my opinion on the stock CEI, I've been watching it for a year and a half as a retail momentum play. Wasn't a big fan of the company. Always have said play it on momentum, but when I looked at it earlier today, it looks like they have been slowly fixing their financials, and I need to have some time to give it a further look. And the price definitely is in that range where it makes it an interesting one to hold for the next run up. And the reasons that I used to use, that the company was a bit of a financial mess, it looks like they have been cleaning some of those up. So I'm going to give it a second look, and I'll talk to you guys more about it tomorrow. Scavenger, if you want me to throw you an invite, shoot me a DM on Twitter. Did FTX really have 400 million tokenized AMC? That I just talked about that a second ago. Sorry if I missed your question, but we just discussed this. They had a tokenized crypto coin that you could buy. I don't know for sure because I haven't read a recent article on it. Last time I read about it was months ago. I thought that it was supposed to be backed up with some shares of AMC to give people that don't have access to the US markets a chance to participate in the movement of the stock. If that was backed up by shares or how many they had, I don't know. That will be something I need to look into later tonight. Andrew says, I did it to save Yuka time. Thank you, Andrew. Yuka says, thank you too. Why? Who? So tomorrow, for those of you that weren't on the live stream, I did buy some protective SPY puts just in case the market doesn't sustain this. Those expire on the 14th of November. $380 strike is what I got on those. Other than that, let this fucker run. Let all of these bitches run. Hernandez Marlon, who are we talking to? Are you talking to Tony or are you talking to someone else in the chat? The market is open tomorrow, Tyler. The bond market and banks are not open. Stock market will be open. All right, Scavenger, I'll take a look here. Stand by 1 second. We'll see if we can get Scavenger on. All right, let's see if that works, amigo. I invited the usuals also, but I guess I'm guessing Massalorian, besides the fact that he's been staying up late working election stuff, probably really digging into some GTII stuff. What do you guys think? I just have a feeling. I haven't talked to him today. Boy, the GTII videos coming out like fire now, aren't they? I do have some other charts here that I was looking at, and a gentleman that I reached out to. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. I finally realized why Ham keeps on calling this, any other report you look at, the daily short interest, we just call it daily short interest. This one website, sorry, the daily short volume. Let me get my terminology right. Daily short volume is a percentage of the trades. He keeps on calling this daily short volume naked shorts. And I'm wondering if he's looking at this right up here, naked short interest. This is the first time I've looked at this particular website. So I will dig into that a little bit more. But typically what I see the folks that are covering GTII do is report the daily short volume, and they call it naked shorts, which is, in my understanding of all the times I've looked into this, which has been many, daily short volume is not naked shorts or daily short interest. MC, thank you, brother. Flashing those lights behind me. I appreciate you. Thanks for helping keep the bills paid. Do we know who won the Senate and House yet? Dream of stuff. I have not even looked at it since last night. We'll pull it up here in just a second. Did I see the report that institutions own 124% of AMC? Well, I mean, I don't need to see it to know that is not correct. Which website was it from, Justin? Last time I looked at it a week or so ago, it was still in the 30-ish% range. The last time I did look at it again was because websites double counting data and people were posting it on Twitter. And these people have big followings. And I quickly went and looked at the website that they were posting and looked at the data and could pretty quickly and easily tell that the website they were looking at was double counting data. So this is a common problem. Scavenger, is your mic working?
Hey, Tony, how are you? Can you hear me?
Good. Hey, yeah. Let me finish up.
Yeah,
Let
no
me finish
problem.
up this one thought, and then. So here's a common problem with websites that aggregate data when they're looking at institutional ownership. The big owners are BlackRock and Vanguard reports a 13F, which is a summary of all of their holdings. And then they report individual import filings, which would be labeled NP. And you can go see all of those in Fintel. But the NP filings are a subset. They're the exact same data as the 13F. And I see a lot of websites that count all of those twice, and you can't do that. And so any website that is doing that sort of incorrect data counting or showing it in charts is going to be showing you incorrect data. A lot of them also show outdated data. Long time ago, 8 months ago, I did a video on reliable institutional ownership reporting. If you guys are curious about all the mistakes that websites make, I went through about 10 examples and showed you the one or two that I use that are fairly reliable. Almost every other single one was double counting data or had terribly outdated data still showing as current. Like that, some of them were still showing Wanda as owning AMC. Come on.
That's old news.
Yeah. I mean, this was 8 months ago, but Wanda had been out of the play and they were still showing them as being an owner of AMC. So you got to be careful with your sources. Not everybody is familiar with looking at this data. So I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but hey, feel free to send me the links and I'm happy to tell you if they're legit or not. Scavenger, what's up? We haven't met in person.
Yeah, this is the first time. Thanks for having me on, Tony. It's obviously, I've been an avid watcher of your stream for a long time. So, and obviously I come in and joke around once in a while and put a funny comment in there, but obviously I've said it in my streams and I've said it in my videos that you're one of the real ones, which are definitely hard to find in this movement at the moment.
I appreciate that.
So,
I do watch. I watch your videos from time to time, Scavenger. You are relentlessly bullish on this play. I like that. Hey, I just want to give you a heads up before you turn on me like everybody else. Scavenger, 10 years ago when I was 40-ish, I took a couple evening acting classes to, expand my skill set in life.
Yeah.
I just want to get that clear. Just to be clear too with you.
Yeah.
I've talked about this many times since July of last year, and I've never been paid for any acting gig. Although I did do a couple extras for a TV show. I got like $8 an hour. So just so we're straight, Scavenger, I don't want you turning on me like all these other ballless wonders, thinking that you discovered some secret.
This is the first time us talking on a live, of course, but Tony, I'm pretty good at reading someone's character, and obviously, as you know, because you're the culprit, right? There's some stuff spreading on Twitter, of course, about people bringing up, some bullshit past of whatever it may be with you. But I never take anybody else's, opinion. I always go off my own opinion, and I've had good vibes. You're somebody who's definitely factual and goes off the information that's in front of our faces, and it's been that way since the start. And sometimes people don't like to hear, what the evidence is telling us, but
people will never address the due diligence I brought up.
Right.
Why not, guys? Come on, make a video refuting anything that I said. Instead, since you can't do that, you do these shitty personal attacks. It is pathetic.
Yeah.
Ballless, gutless wonders.
Have you been taking a lot of attacks lately?
On top of it.
Yeah. Have you been getting a lot of heat lately?
No, I mean, people send me messages, I don't go watch that nonsense. What are they going to tell me about myself that I don't already know?
Right. I don't know if it's been the same way for you, but obviously you're an influencer, so I can pretty much assume that you're kind of going through the same thing. But for me, man, I'll tell you some of the threats that come in the Twitter comments, and I've had people even find my Facebook page and message me on there. There's people out there that want to kill me. Let's just say that. And it's like, all over me holding a certain stock. It's unbelievable.
Block them and never look back. There's no sense, there's no sense in letting some random jerk off living in his mom's basement, or his wife left him and he hates the world and he's got problems going back to childhood. Do not let those people get to you. Block them and move on. Fuck those people. This is not a business, social media for the faint of heart.
You're absolutely right. And I think people take for granted, they don't understand, it's not easy, especially for you. I've seen every live you've done today. You've been live we'll call it all day long. I mean, it's not easy business getting in front of a camera and dealing with the stuff we deal with, but definitely props to you for keeping it up. I appreciate, me personally as an investor, whether it's bullish or bearish news, I can appreciate that. And knowing what you're going through on a constant day-to-day basis, Tony, I have nothing but respect for you. So it's definitely nice to be able to, talk to you firsthand other than writing shit out.
The funny thing, Scav, is that can I call you Scav?
Absolutely, whatever you want to call me.
By the way, is that your real name, Scavenger?
My real name's Micah.
No, don't say
Oh,
it.
it's fine, whatever. But
No. You're gonna get psychotic stalkers coming after you.
It's too late. It's too
No,
late.
No. All of guys, almost everybody on YouTube, it's not their real name. If you didn't know, Marantz Rants, that's not his real name.
Yeah.
John Wick Sniping, that's not his real name. Yes, some of them that we talked. Tony is my real name.
Yeah.
But anyways, what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you a question, and I got myself off what I was gonna ask. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Well, first I said how you kind of go with the facts, whether it's bearish or bullish, and then
yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get upset with me because I talk facts. I don't do hopium. There's plenty of other channels for hopium. And I say, go watch them. If you want that kind of entertainment, if you need that kind of pump in the arm, go watch them, enjoy it. And we should all be able to coexist because we all have the same end goal.
Yep.
Right. I might have a different time frame because I'm looking at factual stuff, not hopium stuff, but we all have the same goal. But for some reason, these guys, get offended or think I'm personally attacking them when I'm doing my own due diligence, independent of them. And I don't know what personal defect makes everyone think that any video I do is directed at them. That's like,
well,
bro, no one cares about your videos except your hopium followers.
Sometimes some people hear things that go against their beliefs. They want to take it as a shot at them, I guess I would say. But I think a lot of the information people get misconstrued is, people need to understand, like, a lot of the facts you're talking about, Tony, like when you talk about, like, your latest video was earnings with Highcroft, right? People don't trust the data that we're given. So your Ortex data, you have a lot of YouTubers who strictly base their opinions based off of, and love the shot glass, by the way.
This is my beer mug.
I love that. How do you set it down though without it spilling? You got a little stand 3D printed or something? Yeah.
No, this is all. This is actual. This is bone. This is real bone.
Wow, I love that. But going back, you have a lot of YouTubers who, like me personally, Tony. I don't want you to build an opinion against me because I'm an entertainer. I laugh about things and try to bring smiles and happiness to this play, right? Because
I should probably do more of that, huh? Surely that would get
you
me.
do fine. Everybody's their self for their self, and that's why you're YouTube and people follow you for a reason. But I don't trust the Ortex data that we're given. I don't trust some of the data we're giving, and I think some people, point fingers at YouTubers, certain YouTubers, based off of them going off the data. And I think people need to realize, like somebody like yourself who gives facts and data, like this is data based off of the data that we're given, right? That we can physically look at the best of our abilities to do research on, right? So you're giving the community, the people watching you, the data that we're able to get our hands on, right? So regardless if you believe or don't believe that data, doesn't mean that you're giving false information, right? You're the one who's doing that digging and deep diving into that data to give us what we're able to get our hands on. And whatever people want to, believe, that's their opinion, but don't hate on the messenger for relaying the information, if you will. That's what I'm trying to say. I get where you're at. And I just want to say that I respect it, in my opinion. And I love those Thug Life glasses too.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, we either look at the data we have available, even if it's shit, or we have nothing, right? Who wants to work on guessing? My life doesn't work on no data. Like my background is economics, math, and
Yep.
engineering work. I don't have an engineer degree because Tony said he's an engineer. No, I managed engineers. I was an engineering manager. I do not
Yep.
have an engineering degree. I have an economics degree, but my whole existence has been built on building cases, building theories around data. So I got to work with something. I can't just come on YouTube every day and say there's 50 billion synthetics and have nothing to back it up. And I
Right.
get it. Some people want to do that. Hey, all of y'all that do that, I got no problem with that. As long as people know, that is your best guess. And maybe every now and then talk about why you think that. I think
Yep.
Bigums and a few other people do a good job of talking about why they think that. And I respect that. And I don't have to agree with everything that everybody says, as long as I know we're all pulling for the same end goal. How we get there, fuck, who cares?
Right. Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I mean, being obviously you and I are both doing YouTube. I'm gonna completely put it out here right now. Tony's doing much more in the YouTube than I am. I don't have the capability like you do to be able to go live all day, etc. But I like the idea of people being able to have the capability of having diversity, right? Being able to go through and not have one source. It's important to be able to get multiple sources of information, because if you're relying on one source of information, that's a cult. And it's important to have different perspectives, because it's sometimes as human beings it's hard to pull ourselves back and really think about everything going on. So being able to have people like you, me, whoever it may be, multiple people, it gives you time to step back and really challenge your brain on what's really happening in the overall market. And obviously, you're much older than me and have a lot more experience, right? With
Hundreds
with
of
things,
years, hundreds
yeah,
of years.
hundreds of millions. But I'm not afraid to admit that. But with AMC, things like that, short squeeze plays, I have hundreds of hours of research. Um, with AMC, and it's gotten to a point I've talked about in many of my videos that I've done that I've talked about. I've had to reemphasize the way I speak, because I've said numerous times that the DD for me is done. And obviously people have taken that out of proportion and spewed it off to things, to other things. But for me, like, I don't need more information to convince me why I invest in the things I do. Like, you have a lot of people out there who are angry at Adam Aaron, etc. In my opinion, it's like, why are you invested in a company where you don't like the CEO? Like, Mullen's a great example. Mullen was a big retail interest, stock where people were pushing it. And I did 15 minutes of research on the CEO, and I fucking seen the guy he was, and I told myself, I'm not investing in this piece of shit stock. People, like, why are you holding your net worth in a company that you don't even respect the management team? Like, it doesn't, in my mind, I can't comprehend why you would do something like that. And
Yep.
touch on that, Tony, and tell me, I mean, I get people are in this for a short squeeze play, but you have to look at it as if, okay, if a short squeeze doesn't happen, how am I going to make my investment back? Right. I look at it like, okay, if a short squeeze doesn't happen and the corruption and manipulation takes place and I'm screwed out of a short squeeze, I at least want to be able to hold on to this thing for a year or two and know that the management team's going to 4x my investment. You know what I mean? But people
Yep.
aren't looking at it like that. And I don't understand why. I don't get what's going through their minds.
Well,
Um,
a lot of the people that got in this play were under the impression, and I take no, I take no ownership of that, because I didn't turn on the camera till July, after this play, had already run up to 72 and started coming back down. But I turned it on because I got so frustrated at the clickbait and the nonsense, and these guys telling people to buy calls when it was 60
yeah,
bucks. Like, this is ridiculous what they're telling people to do. You should have been telling them to sell their calls, buy the calls at 7 or 8 and sell them into the run up.
Right.
But that's not what people were being told. And no one would talk to me, Trey, Matt, all these guys. So I said, fuck it. I'm old, I'm boring, and I'm ugly, but I'm
Oh,
gonna at least
stop.
get an opinion out there and be a foundation, a voice of reason for someone who's tired of that kind of nonsense.
Yep.
But I do think, yes, people got in the play. They weren't worried about the management. They weren't worried about fundamentals. They weren't worried about anything. And none of that even mattered at that time, right? But now they're stuck in the play, maybe over leveraged in the play, and they need someone to blame other than themselves. Matt's gone, Trey's gone. Who else are they going to blame? Oh, well, let's blame the CEO.
Right.
I've known CEOs. I understand their job, and their job is not to facilitate a short squeeze. I know people hate it when I say that. Now, they do have a fiduciary responsibility to us to run the company correctly, but I'm just telling you what I think, how I think Adam Aaron is looking at
Absolutely.
this. His job is to make sure this company gets to profitability and stays viable and doesn't go bankrupt. So from his perspective, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to make that happen. And that is unfortunate for us stuck in this play this long, because that means probably more dilution coming. If there's no squeeze anytime soon, a beautiful thing right now would be to have a squeeze, have Ape run up and let him sell a bunch at a high price, right? Because then he can pay off the debt and we can get some money for Ape. But I don't think we're going to get what we want out of Ape, because I've seen this playbook time after time. When companies have run-ups, the CEOs sell into that because they need money. I think you'd be foolish to think that he won't do that. So my prayer is it happens quickly and violently before they have time to pull the trigger, and that each one of you gets to get out at a price that you want before they pull that trigger. That's what I hope.
I going back to the statement you just made about AMC, I've talked about this numerous times on videos, when I post them during the day. Obviously, I'm at work, so I don't have I'm doing my due diligence, but I don't have the capability of pulling out documents and stuff right in front of everybody's faces. But something that really touched me was the earnings call, right? You've seen it, you're big on Twitter. You've seen the drama that took place after the AMC earnings call, and these AMC elitists who want Adam Aaron and the management team of AMC to answer for these failure to delivers and potential manipulation taking place in AMC. I think manipulation's taking place in AMC, but I'm not a market maker. I cannot put this physical evidence in front of anybody's face. Nobody can. We can put numbers out there and believe what we want to believe, but at the end of the day, if we were standing in front of a judge in the court of law, we don't have that compelling evidence because we don't have the capabilities of getting our hands on that evidence. But as far as Adam Aaron goes, of course, Adam Aaron isn't rooting for a short squeeze to occur in AMC. It wouldn't. The AMC and Adam Aaron and the management team's job is to look after the employees that they have hired, to look after AMC becoming a good, profitable company long term. If a squeeze happens, it happens in between AMC becoming a fundamentally high valued stock again. When we have people on Twitter getting angry at Adam Aaron for not acknowledging failure to delivers or market manipulation taking place. Adam Aaron gave these shares to Wall Street to distribute the way they distribute. AMC has no way of tracking these shares on where they go. I make this analogy all the time. It'd be like, Tony, me selling my truck to you, and then you sign the title, and then you sell my truck to 5 people, and there's only one truck, and now the people are bitching up a storm coming up to me going, well, how'd this truck get sold 5 times? How am I supposed to know? I gave the truck to Tony, and Tony's the one who allocated that truck where it was supposed to go. That's what's taking place right now. And I think people, the reality of what's taking place right now is it's really just a battle of being patient or impatient. We have people who have over leveraged themselves in the market, have put too much into the market that they're not willing to lose, right? Anytime you invest in the market, in my opinion, it should be money that you're willing to either lose or let sit there for a very long time, right?
Yep.
If you're in a situation where you're choosing to pay your bills or choose to invest in the market, that's a fucking problem. And and that's happening, Tony. I mean, you know that just as I do, just as well as I do. That's taking place right now. Um, People are massively over leveraged in AMC, and it's an addiction. It's an addiction. They can't get their position to a stable point on which they're willing to hold and forget about it. They are addicted to building their position with collateral that they don't have. And this is why we're seeing these outbursts take place, in my opinion. We're seeing people who genuinely need this money.
if
And,
if
you
I
know,
would have been live streaming in June when that run up happened, I would have said the same thing like I say on every other play. Even if I thought AMC was going to $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 as it was running up to 72, I would have been saying what I say on every play. Get your initial investment out at least.
yep, yep,
You don't want to be looking back tomorrow or 2 days from now and saying, fuck, it came all the way back down and now I'm in the red and I was just up thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, it is
yep,
still irritating if you don't catch the top on anything. I did not catch the top on CRTD. I sold on Friday. It's irritating, but I made a decent profit for a 1-day investment.
yep.
I mean, how many chances do you get to make? I forget what I made, 33, 38%. I
Not bad at all.
bought in at 50 and sold just under 90.
Yep.
How often do you get a chance
You
to
can't
do that
complain
in a
that.
day?
Yeah. Go find a bank. Go find anywhere else where you're gonna make 30 go find anywhere else where you're gonna make 5% a day, 4% a day,
A year.
1% a day. Right.
A
I
year in
mean,
many
you're not,
cases.
that's like I'm big into I scalp options, and I stay away from AMC just simply because whatever the news wants to call it, reality of the fact is the options are expensive. I can go buy options contracts in Meta or Amazon for the same price they want for AMC. And Meta or Amazon's moving dollars a day where AMC's moving pennies a day right now. So, for me, I'm not trading options in AMC just, for a sheer factor of it's not profitable, right? AMC's not moving, right? A day like today, if you would have jumped into options, yeah, you would have made nice money. But how often do days like today happen?
I,
AMC's my baby. I put to the side, and I'm playing companies that are moving dollars a day for my day to day, operations. But go ahead, you were going to say
I
something.
was so busy looking at the money I was making on my Highcroft options today that I forgot to look. I have some AMC call options too.
Yeah.
I have
What
uh, I have
you're
December $10 calls and March $8 calls.
I would be
Uh,
pretty confident with those. What was
yeah,
your
they
buy
were.
into those average per contract?
I bought them many weeks ago, so I'm looking at them. They're up 44 and 53% on the day, but I'm still in the
Wow.
red on them because I've been holding them
Yep.
for
Self
a few
theta
weeks.
burn and yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
need the price to go a little higher.
yep. Yep.
But if they go in the money, if it were to go to $8 or $10, these were small little option plays,
Mhm.
the lottery tickets as we call them, but I
Right.
don't like buying
Right.
lottery tickets for this week or next week. I try and do it for 3, 4, 6 months out.
Yep.
So even if I'm burning time, if I need to, I can sell them like next week and rebuy them for a month later, and I'm not losing that much.
Yeah, that's what I always try to tell people. I'm like, I'm not a financial advisor, but like, and my number one, scalping's the way, right? Because you don't have to go to bed worrying about anything. If you know how to scalp and you have, always advise people starting with paper trading, right? Because we are so lucky to have a tool like on Webull paper trading to be able to, play with fake monopoly money and get to learn, operations and things like that. But, obviously, with what you did, some people may not be able to do that because the farther you go out and a expiration date, the more expensive the option contract is. But yeah, I mean, but the farther you go out, the safer it is, because the likelihood of AMC hitting that $10 mark by December is very, a lot more likely than, an option expiring tomorrow, right, on the 11th. So,
Do you use any tools like options profit calculator or options strat to visualize the effect of implied volatility when you're looking at options?
So mostly for me, like I said, I'm doing scalps for, I'm in an options trade for about 10, 15 minutes, aiming for that 8 to 20%. But typically, in regards to that implied volatility, if you have an option with, a high implied volatility, I'm not touching it. I'm kind of going through, like I said, I'm playing like your Amazon, I stay away from SPY because I'm not a big fan of same day expiration. It's too much risk for me per
Yeah.
se. Now SPY pays out phenomenally. Okay. If you're a gambler and SPY's movements, I mean, SPY pays out amazing. The premiums on those options are crazy. But I like your AMD, right? Because these stocks are moving $2-3 a day, right? So, I just stick with those. But if I have an option with high implied volatility, I'm staying away from that. I'm basically looking for, I'm jumping in that momentum, right? I'm looking for MACD crossings, EMA crossings, you know, uh, playing that pre-market range, just things like that. It just really depends on the day, on what the stocks are doing. As we know, in this bear market, it's tough to, if you can trade in this market, I always say you can trade in a bull market, no freaking problem. But it's myself, I don't like scalping. I end up getting burned on, or I'm sorry, I don't like swinging options because I end up getting burned on them, right? I hope that it goes in my favor, and you make money, you lose money, but I don't want to go to sleep at night knowing I'm holding something, right? I already have AMC, rather hop in, ride it out, and stop losses tight at 10-15% and be done with it.
That was my thought on selling CRTD on
Only losing
Friday. I was
10%,
like,
I'll make that back in another trade.
that was my thought on selling CRTD on Friday. I was like, well, I could risk holding it over the weekend, but who knows what's going to happen over the weekend. But if it runs on Monday, it's going to be awesome. But you're going to be on vacation.
Yeah.
Fuck it, just sell it. Sell it and don't worry. You're in the green.
Take your profits.
Yeah, take your profit.
Yeah.
No one ever cried over a profit.
I heard some quotes that will stay in my head forever. It's somebody said profits are always going to be better than an hourly wage. And ever since I heard that, I was like, wow. Like, when you think about it that way, like, even if you're only making 1% a day, look at that portfolio in 2 years from now.
Yep.
Doing that 1% a day every day. It's like, it's just, the biggest thing with option trading, Tony, yourself, like, it's really the only thing getting in between you and that profit is your emotions. And that's really
that's a very mature outlook you have there.
Appreciate it.
And I think that to expand on what you said, a lot of the reason people get trapped in plays is because they want every single play to be a hit out of the park play. And they're not content taking 10, 20, 30%.
Right.
But guys, if you take 10, 20, 30% off of different plays every day, even 1% or 5%, like Scavenger said, and do that every trading day, you're going to, in a year or two, see, nobody has the patience, Scavenger, to do this for a year or two. That's the problem.
Yep.
They want everything right now.
Yeah.
And they want it
Well,
big.
yeah, and a lot of people, they get into it and burn out their first account. And it's like, I burned an account before. Like when I first started, I think I burned 2 accounts
I
out.
probably have too, at
And
least two.
it's like, it's getting you're going to burn an account out. Like you have to learn for yourself, because hearing somebody tell you how to do it isn't enough. Like you have to have the want to come back after you failed the first time, the second time. Like it's not losses, it's lessons, right? Like when you burn that first account out and you lose $1,000, yeah, it freaking hurts, but you have to tell yourself, okay, I'm coming back and I'm not going to do that again. And eventually, like, you get to a point where it's like, okay, I know, like, next time when it's going against me, I'm not going to let it ride down 80%. I'm going to see it's going against me 5% and preserve that capital, and that's the hardest part. Because when you start to see how much money you can make with day trading options, it's hard to not be greedy. Okay. I mean, it really is. When you see you're working all day to make $300 at your day job, working 8 hours, but you can make $300 in the first 15 minutes sitting on the shitter, in the morning. Like, I mean, it's 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 hard not to be greedy, but it's learning. You have to fail to learn what you did wrong. Like I feel like you have to. Um,
I'll
you
tell
know,
you a story. I don't think I've shared it here before, but I heard the gentleman over, guys, help me out with his name, over at Warrior Trading. He said in a training video one time that's for free on his channel. He said the biggest mistake that new traders make, or the worst thing that can happen to them, is hitting it big on their first 1 or 2 trades, because then they think they're infallible. And I've had that happen to me many times over the
oh
decades.
yeah,
In fact, I remember writing out a trading plan for 30 days. I was just going to start with $1,000 and do an experiment in options trading where I double, I make my money, I double it, and then roll that into in the next day and double it. And I was going to have $500,000 by the end of the month. How many days do you think I made through that calendar without losing it all?
probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't think it was over 7.
Yeah, yeah,
It is really, really hard to hit it out of the park time after time after time. So,
oh yeah,
just through life experience like that, I've learned and incorporated this phrase, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Don't
yeah,
be a fucking hog when it comes to trading. Take your little
yeah.
kibble off the ground and be happy you ended the day green, and just repeat that every day. In a year or two, you're going to thank yourself.
I mean, touching on that, like I've been up when I first started options trading, because it is a learning curve. Nobody is gonna get into options trading, scalping, and know how to do it on the first day. Like it's a learning curve because there's a lot of things that come into play with it. But when I first started, Tony, I had situations where I'd be up 8% and I'd say, no, I want 15%. And guess what? I'd ride that 8% right down to -5% because it's that greed. I've finally developed, after losing so much money, I finally developed, it's like, okay, not so much money, but enough money to be like, okay, something's fucked up here. Like I've learned that it's like green is green. Like even if I'm making, $20 a day, like $20 today, tomorrow, because I made that $20, it's going to compound. Now I'm going to make $30 tomorrow. Next day I'm going to make 45. Next day I'm going to make 60. Right? Like it's just that compounding. And that's why, like, the biggest reason I got into options trading was because, like, I told myself, I said, okay, I have my AMC position. I hold many other stocks, many other pot stocks, S&P 500, whatever, growth stocks. But obviously right now in the spare market, those aren't performing well for me, right? I'm not making money in those. So cost of living's going up. So what other options do I have, right? I'm working a, 9 to 5 job. I have a great job. I make great money at my job. I love my job. But at the same time, it's like that job just gets me the bare minimum of the lifestyle I want to live. And the only way I can change that is by doing something. And people don't realize this market has so much to give you. There's so many ways to take from this market, but you have to be willing to sit down and learn.
Yep.
And the problem is people have gotten a bad taste because there's a lot of YouTubers, oh, join my Discord. Like, and then what do? They tell you, hey, jump into this play. Here's an alert here. Like, I don't want to be told what to jump into and make 20%. I want to learn why are we getting into this play, because eventually I want to be able to do this shit on my own, right? And that's like the biggest problem with this community is you have, the Matt Kors YouTubers, sorry, not to say names, but like just you have YouTubers who have these Discords who don't teach anything, don't bring any intrinsic value. They just tell you what to do, and that's not the way it should be.
Yep.
You know how it is. It's not just, oh, yep, get into that. You don't learn that way, Tony. You know that. So
We all make that mistake of, you're 8 to 15%. You wanted 15%, it only ran up 8, and you held on, and it didn't quite, and then it starts coming down. That still happens to me frequently.
yeah,
I have my
once in a
target
while.
of where it wants to go, and then I didn't sell quick enough. And then you got to have the number 2 follow-on rule. When it starts coming down, know when to pull that fucking ripcord.
Right.
Like whatever your loss threshold is. Like GTII, these poor guys that bought in at 7, 6, 5, and you see it going down, down, down. I don't care what someone on YouTube is telling you on a company like that, which has 0 revenue. Do you realize that company has 0 revenue?
It's so that whole
It's not
thing
like a
is
movie
just
company where the revenue is growing back and it got taken out
right.
by COVID. GTII is a no revenue company. You got to be really even more critical of yourself when you see that thing coming down. When I see a trade going against me, I get out of it. Now, AMC, I was lucky that I had options also back in late May and early June that I bought in that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Kind of offset
$11
those
range.
losses. Yeah.
I made a fuck ton on those.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about my shares anymore. That's free money at this point.
Yeah. House money. Yeah. Yeah.
But most plays, if you see it didn't reach your target and it starts turning against you, it's a good discipline to learn to just pull the ripcord. And if you have an account that you can do day trading in, or my other trick, have multiple accounts, guys, so you can get around this pattern day trading thing. If you have different brokerage accounts in different houses and you got out of a play in one because it turned against you, and then you see it starts running again, if you're running out of day trades on that account, go over to a different account on a different broker and get back in. I've gotten in and out of plays 3 or 4 times in a day thinking, oh, I better get out because it's coming down. Oh shit, it's going back up. That's okay. You keep a close eye on it.
Matt Donnelly here said, no options unless you can watch it while working. I work a 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. job, so I'm more versed to buying stock instead of options. I'm a field tech, so sometimes I'll YOLO an option. I mean, for the last part, I don't agree with, but the first part, yeah, I mean, you really need to be like, fortunately in my job, like obviously the ideal scenario would be, sitting right there in front of the computer watching. I'm a 5-minute candle options trader. Typically I'll get into an option on the 5-minute candle and then jump into the 1-minute candle. And as soon as it starts going against me, I'll just take my profits. But you really do need to have your eyes on the chart, because especially in this market, what we're seeing right now, Tony, best, this stuff can trade on you in a second, can flip on you. There's a lot of people, you guys, believe it or not, who bought swing options yesterday, expecting the market to keep going down. And look at this morning, what happened. They got freaking burned. And just like that in pre-market, not even a time they can trade. The market opened and they're freaking down. Like they had no chance. And that's why it's insane how quick things can change. So
I think a lot of these stocks today that got this mysterious run up, there were a lot of people buying puts on a lot of shit. And then they got caught by surprise with the CPI numbers and the market started trending up. And all these people that bought puts in the last few days got absolutely wrecked today.
Oh, yeah.
not puts, but shorts. You know what I mean?
Right. What were the so I actually for my first view on the CPI, I believe you did a video or on your live, but the CPI numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, but they weren't better. They were just better than expected. They still
Yeah.
got bad, but not as bad, right?
Inflation is, I mean, the core index and the CPI, the consumer price index, both showed an increase both on a monthly and annual basis, just not as high
Bad.
as they thought. So they said maybe it's going to start slowing down, but it's still going up. That's why
Right.
I said on my video this afternoon, my wrap up video, I said, okay, the report is out, but did you actually read the report? That I
Right.
actually think that this run up today might be a little bit overdone, because just like happens with dubious news on some retail stocks, you get a
Market
news item and
overreacted.
everybody gets excited, and then you get a little bit of extra fire behind it from shorts covering. But then everybody's like, well, in reality, we still had a pretty high increase in the CPI. So
Yeah.
maybe this was overdone.
I totally agree. I mean, the interesting thing is obviously right now we have a lot of over leveraged entities taking place in the stock market. So, when we have our little, I guess you could call them dead cat bounces that take place like today in the market, right? Obviously, this isn't retail, in my opinion. You have all stocks moving like pre market, every freaking stock was up, at the identical time. And, the way I like to think about it is when retail gets involved, that's when stocks are going to move differently from one another. But, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, but, yeah, I think the market probably overreacted today. But I think that, especially when we're hitting 52-week lows consecutively, I think we can see, you know, 3 to 4 day events like this. Like there's a chance that the market could rally for, all the way up into the middle of next week. And then,
Yep.
we drop in a flash, right? Because obviously we know that people loaded up on puts. So market makers are going to move, rather you want to believe it or not, guys. Market makers are going to get people out of their puts and they're going to get people into calls. And once they have enough people in calls, they're going to freaking rug pull you. I mean, that's it happens.
We've
I
seen
mean,
that numerous times in
yeah,
past, even just couple months, right?
yeah, yeah.
I
It
think you're
happens
exactly right.
it happens every day. Tony, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, but I'll stay on here. I'm just going to shut my camera off real
Hey
quick. So
man,
give
if
me
you want
two
to get to
seconds.
the pro level, you come to my live streams with adult diapers on, okay? We don't get up to go to the
Oh,
bathroom.
I'm
I'm just
sorry. I
teasing.
don't
I'm
try to
just
be
teasing.
that guy.
I'm just
Two
teasing. Go
seconds.
ahead. Yeah. Tim says it was way overdone. The move today was not natural. I agree. I think there was some momentum, and then some shorts got trapped. It got ran up, and I'm happy for everyone, for all of my plays being in the green massively today. But just in case, I did buy some spy puts today. We'll see in the next couple days if that was smart or not. Someone asked about CBDC. If you're talking about the central bank digital coin, I have a whole playlist on crypto, including some videos on CBDC. I think there is one coming, but not on the near term time frame that nobody else except me, anybody on YouTube thinks it's happening next month, 3 months from now. And that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm not thrilled with the idea of the potential government control of a CBDC. But I think it is inevitable, but I think it's several years away. Could be wrong, but I'm just going on the complexity of implementing that in the U.S. banking system, and the amount of Congress members who are against rushing something like that through, and the impact it will have on small regional banks. There's a lot of concerns that need to be addressed before you just rush out a CBDC. And, I'm certainly no banking expert. I'm not a CBD expert, but I did study the monetary system a lot, a few hundred years ago in college, many classes on banks and how banking works and the monetary system. And it would have terrible, terrible impacts to the banking system in the US if they were to go to 100% CBDC next quarter. This is something I think is going to be slowly rolled out in a few years, but I think it's definitely coming. I'm going to be watching it closely. I am suspicious of it. This whole social control, letting the government have control over your assets. Oh, we didn't like that you said this on Twitter. We don't like that you're going to try and spend this money to buy liquor. You're restricted, whatever. I'm just throwing an example. We could come up with worse ideas. We don't like that you donated to a Canadian trucking protest. Your access is cut off. I don't like any of that. And I will be keeping a close eye on it and talking about it as need be. But yeah, if you're curious more of my thoughts, go check out the crypto playlist on my channel. A lot of warnings on there too that I did months ago saying do not fucking leave your crypto on an exchange. All this FTX stuff. How do people not learn?
It's been devastating what's been taking place with crypto. It's actually honestly quite sad.
It is. It's horrible. It's
I
devastating. It's sad. It's also completely avoidable, but
it is.
people are too lazy. Sorry if I'm talking to you, not you, Scavenger,
No.
but anyone in the audience. Get yourself a fucking cold storage wallet and get your crypto off an exchange. It's not your crypto if it's on an exchange.
Right. Yeah,
It's
we're
in a
seeing that
pool.
take place right now
It's
where
in a
they didn't even
pool.
have the crypto, right?
It's in a
Right.
pool and they're going to lend it out and they're going to lever it up. And if something goes wrong, it's going to come tumbling down faster than a house of cards.
It's you know, like I say, you have so much more time and seen so much. Like for me in 2008, like I didn't, I obviously lived through it, but like for you, I'm sure it had a legitimate impact personally on you. Where for me, it was like, at that time, it was
Which had an impact on me?
in 2008.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure you physically, mentally dealt with that. Whereas for me, I just seen kind of what took place with that, and like, you know, it's
my businesses got wrecked in
oh yeah,
2008. Absolutely wrecked.
yeah.
Stock, all of that, I was okay, but business wise, it was a horrible year. And I did get, I lost a lot of money back in the .com boom.
What year was that? 2001 or when was that?
Ish, yeah,
Yeah.
2000, 2001,
It's just people.
1999.
It's crazy to me that like, I mean, I like to look at it like for my grandparents' day, right? They obviously, a lot of grandparents have their, you know, mine specifically have a lot of money in the markets and stuff, and like, there's this baby boomer mentality of things are just going to keep on rising, right? Things are going to keep going up. Like when we hold, things are going to keep going up. And it's like, you know, yeah, we have these growth stocks like the S&P 500 that grows right on a whatever, maybe a 5% per year basis on average, right? But people forget that these pullbacks like we're experiencing right now, which I don't think we've hit bottom, but aside from that, it doesn't really matter. We could call this bottom because it's a lot lower than where it should be right now. These take a long time to come back to those pre-levels where you're back to that gaining, right? Where you're back to gaining and you're back in the money again. So it could take 4 to 5 years for, it really could. It could take 4 to 5 years for SPY to come back to being on that trend level of rising to those percentages again. So it's sad that there's people that put money into this market, 2 years ago that are back, down to those same exact levels. It's quite frankly just insane to think about. Like, I don't know. I mean,
I got a couple questions in the chat. Ken says the poor people at FTX. I would say, Ken, and again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to single anybody out in the audience, but you already knew from Voyager what could happen, right? Your entire crypto wallet just get obliterated, never get it back, maybe get pennies on the dollar. And that's why I was trying to get all those videos out saying that, if you don't have the keys, if it's not in cold storage, it is not your crypto. And if that exchange goes bankrupt, you are done. Someone asked in the chat, how does a cold storage wallet protect you from the price dropping? It does not, right? If crypto drops, it drops. Whether it's on your wallet is just basically, think of it as it's keeping account. It's keeping account of how many shares you have of any crypto. They're stored right there. The price is fluctuating out here in public. The quantity that you have is in your lockbox. You can't do anything about the price. But if your shares are on FTX or Gemini or Voyager or Coinbase or Robinhood, and that company goes bankrupt, that is their asset. You have a beneficial owner account. And if they go bankrupt, you might get a couple pennies back in any bankruptcy agreement.
pennies on the dollar. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get your money back. The price is irrelevant at that point. You just basically lost all of it. Whereas if you just have it in a cold storage wallet, and as you need to trade, you can trade it directly from there. Or, what I do is I keep a little bit on an exchange just to have easy, quick, liquid access, but I keep the bulk of it in cold storage, just off an exchange, guys.
Real quick, this is Tony's stream, but I feel obligated to come through and say this, but there's over 280 people in here. I say if you like the stream, guys, definitely like it up, because Tony, as you know, us YouTubers, it is all based on an algorithm that takes place based off of engagement. So if you guys like it, dislike it, whatever it may be, please take the second to do that, because it'll definitely help Tony get his voice out to a lot of new people. So
a lot of new trolls, a lot of new trolls to be found out there. But
absolutely.
Also a lot of people that need a voice of reason. So thank you for mentioning that. And Scavenger, guys, if you haven't checked him out, he has a YouTube channel also. So go give him a follow over there on his channel.
So Tony, let me ask you this. I know this is your stream, but I kind of have a couple questions I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. And I comment a lot, but I know it's hard. Like when your comments are, I get what you're going through when they're running quick and you can't really see what's going on. But first of all, I guess if you're, comfortable answering that, what's your take on AMC's management team? Do you how do you feel on them? I know you're invested in Highcroft. I know obviously AMC's acquired, it's around 20% of Highcroft, and maybe more. Tony, you would know more about that than I would, but what's your overall take on it? Are you skeptical, or are you kind of the person, maybe like me, where you have some trust in those people?
I am generally trusting of the management team. I would not say that I'm 100% trusting of the board of directors, because that's a much more diverse group. And I don't know that they all have the best interest of their companies. I mean, of the company at heart, even though theoretically, if they were invited to be on the board, they should, but I don't know that. And so I trust the management team, the executive team, more than the board of directors.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just had to ask that question because, as you know, we talked about it when I first jumped in here and stuff, but like you have these cultists on Twitter, like just really beating up on Adam Aaron and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean,
it's
I always tell those guys, you are in my world, you're 100% entitled to your opinion. If you don't like Adam Aaron and you want to call him out, that is your right as an American. It's also my right to to answer a comment on your tweet saying I don't agree with you. They get really mad if I do that. But that's my right also. So as long as we're all pulling for the same end goal, it's okay to have differences about who you like on the
Right.
board or the management, whatever. I don't get really bent out of shape about anybody's personal views on that. But in general, you know, I don't trust anybody 100%. Right? I always reserve a critical eye on everybody. So even though I talk good about Adam Aaron and I say let him do his job, don't think I'm some Adam Aaron, you know,
Enthusiast.
lay down and walk over me. I keep
Yeah.
a fucking eye on him like a hawk. And the second I see something that I think crossed the line, you know, for many people, he's already crossed that line for them, and that's fine.
Right.
He hasn't got there yet for me, but my view on this play is also different than those people because they wanted it done 8 months ago and go to, you know, $1 million. And I'm not over leveraged in the play, and how high I expect it to go is not the same as those people. So I'm not at their level of upset. I think everything that he is doing is reasonable.
Yeah. And my next question was going to be like, I mean, you kind of already said it, but you know, on a timing perspective, I mean, we've kind of already touched on that, so it really doesn't matter at this point. But like, I mean, we both have different channels, so you've seen and had different people come up to you talking about their personal experiences going on right now in this current time. But like, there's some people out there, man, who have just they didn't expect this weight, and like neither did we, right? Like if I could have had AMC squeeze 1 week after me buying into it, oh man, that would have been great. I would have been done with it by now, moved on to better and greater things, right? But you know, the way I look at my AMC position now is it's like, you know, even if it took 3 years, you know, the amount of money that I'm going to make off of AMC squeeze or AMC just becoming a fundamentally higher valued company than where it's at now.
Yep.
Because me personally, I think AMC on the trajectory that it's heading towards, I personally, as an investor, feel that it's an undervalued company.
Hang on 1 second. Hang on.
Yeah,
For John Gunther, Angelina, please, in this channel, we don't hide people's comments unless
no
they're
more
being,
trust.
yeah. Well, he said a comment before that. I guess he's talking to me. You were never a financial advisor, but said you were. I would challenge you, John, to, you know, ask the people in the audience, find any video clip where I ever one time said I was a financial advisor. I'll bet you $10,000 right now you cannot find it, because I was never a financial advisor.
This is what I'm talking about.
You can unsub. I might just block you because you're coming on here lying. But no, I've said my job history, guys. I worked at a high-tech company, a Fortune 100 company, started out making $12 an hour, worked myself all the way up to engineering manager, making well into the six figures. Left that job because it was a grind. I did it for 15 years, and I've operated my own businesses for the last 20 years. Never was a financial advisor. My degree is in economics with a minor in finance and banking. I have another degree in electronics. I was never a financial advisor, although I did talk a couple weeks ago about potentially, you know, I was having a discussion, I think on the live stream, asking folks if they knew, like, how did Meet Kevin get a certified financial advisor? Like, he's never worked in the industry, so how did he get around the requirements to get that? It's a lot of work to go get that. And what am I going to do with that? I'm not financially advising anyone. I don't want to have people come to my home office and walk through their finances and their retirement dreams. I just don't. That doesn't interest me. So why would I spend 2 years trying to get certified?
You know, I've always said it from the start, Tony. If I had $1 for every shill or bot that's come into the chat, I wouldn't even need an AMC squeeze. I mean, these guys are just relentless. Like John, for instance, it's just taking time out of their day just to try to get under your skin. And
No, it's good
you
for
know,
me to just remind it for, for
yeah,
anyone who's new here who sees that
yeah,
nonsense, because there are people every day on other channels straight up putting out lies and bullshit about
oh
me.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
will bring the fucking money and let's go mano a mano
What was
with
the
the
one
with
the
the
other
with
night?
the evidence, with the evidence.
$1,000, and I offered
Yeah,
you
bring your
500.
evidence
You
where I
wouldn't
made
even
a
take
video
it.
saying I'm a financial advisor. This is just
Oh
stupidity.
yeah, I was
It's funny,
laughing my
but it's
ass
really
off.
sad. I mean,
It is. It is.
feel sad for these people. And
What was the other one the other night though, where they said
he
you
should
weren't really
unsub if he
married?
believes nonsense like that.
They didn't think you were really married the other night. When
I
I was
know.
watching that, I'm going, "What?" People are just, it's funny too because I can directly relate to you, and, like, I would say probably 95% of people are, that are in this are supportive and good people, but you have that 5% that are just freaking relentless, man, that just take it to the extreme, and it's like, "Oh my god," it never fails, you know?
These short dick ballless wonders,
Yep.
can't figure out how a slightly older man could get a nice looking younger woman because they
Yep.
don't know how to fucking date. And so they just assume, oh, well, he certainly couldn't be married to her. She's way too hot for him. Hey, maybe I'll set up a separate YouTube channel to give you guys dating advice.
Dating advice.
Those dumbasses who think that shit.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, for sure.
some of y'all out there on YouTube land and Twitter, you apparently need a lot of help.
I agree. People do for sure. I mean, I've numerous times, Tony, I've hopped into other people's live streams without them knowing that I'm there, obviously. And the amount of YouTubers that talk shit about me on the daily is hilarious. And it's just because, I mean, I'm a younger fella and they probably don't like that my YouTube's performing better than their YouTube that has
Yep,
50,000
absolutely.
subs.
And
Fuck them.
you're relatively new, right?
Yeah, so I jumped into YouTube. I did some YouTubing in the past, but I jumped in around when was it? I would say August timeframe. Just when I seen, some of these big YouTubers walking away and the stuff going, I'm like, I can't sit around and wait anymore. Like I've always been a part of it. And honestly, I wish I would have jumped into it sooner just to, build trust with people. But yeah, I jumped in just because I felt obligated to jump in. And ironically, I didn't find your channel being recommended to mine until I started doing the YouTubing. So I didn't know you existed. I didn't know Phil for real existed. Like, so back then you'd look up AMC and all that would pop up are, scummy YouTubers. And you know who they are. I'm not even going to mention them on your stream, but, um, it just, I felt this community needed some real people. And, there were still some, but obviously numbers do justice. So I wanted to jump in, and I'm never going to sit here and say I'm the perfect person and get everything right, right? Because there's been times where I come into your stream and say something in the comments and you correct me, right? I'm not afraid to admit sometimes that I'm wrong or say something wrong, or because when you're in an environment like you or I are, you need to say the correct things, right? You can't be messing things up because you have, 200 people that are watching every move you make. So, I'm not afraid for somebody to correct me on, something I may have said wrong, or maybe something I just, simply didn't know. Maybe I focused too much on research over here and didn't know what was going on over here. So, for me, I'm fortunate over things like that, Tony, like that one night when you're like, hey, actually, Scav, I had made a comment one night about hedge funds self-reporting short interest, and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, Scav, it's actually the market makers or whatever you said. And I'm like,
The
oh
lenders,
shit, like,
the
yeah,
lenders report the
yeah.
Ortex data.
And here I am, I put that on, 10 or 15 people may have seen that comment, right? So like I'm fortunate for that. I don't get butt hurt and bent out of shape over being corrected when I'm wrong.
Well,
I
I
have a
have an
very open mind.
unfortunate advantage that I don't sleep that much due to, once I found vampire blood,
Yeah.
sleep became an afterthought. That's how I have survived to the age of 200 and still look this good. But I have a lot of hours. I'm a workaholic and I enjoy researching stuff. So
Mhm.
it's not that I want to be correcting people, but and it's not that I don't make mistakes. I certainly make mistakes. But when I say stuff, normally I'm pretty confident that what I'm saying I can back up because
Right.
I've researched it. And if I don't know, I just will say I can't comment about that.
Right. I mean, that was my thing. Like, obviously, I watched. Actually, when I heard Adam Aaron's AMC earnings, I had your stream in my ear, listening to it. And I'm not trying to like be a fanboy around you, Tony. So don't take that for granted. But I was listening to the earnings, through that, and like you had a lot of people. I feel like the earnings were so divided because I think you have two different types of people. Personally, I've kind of categorized and pictured this in my mind. You have the type of people who are in short and are getting very impatient, like the influencer YouTubers who have been in this from the start who want this to be over with. And then you have, people like myself who have come to the conclusion that if this is going to take time, it's going to take time. But regardless, I hold the shares. And if it's going to take time, that's okay. Like, so I feel like people misconstrued the earnings to try to best fit their narrative.
Yep.
And, I personally look at earnings like we beat earnings. Okay. I knew in Q2, you can go back to videos from weeks ago of me talking about I expected Q3 to not beat earnings. I expected Adam Aaron literally told us at the end of Q2, don't expect much from Q3, guys. Hollywood's not supplying us the movies. They're not giving us the movies in Q3. The movies start in Q4 and all the way through 2023. So, myself as an investor, I took that. Okay. I've said it. I want the management team to be bullish. And out of these earnings, what did we see? We seen a bullish management team. We seen, rather people want to laugh and make fun of Zoom, partnering up with AMC, regardless if you want to laugh or not, any partnership, stupid or not stupid, is more revenue for our
Yep.
company that we're invested in. I don't care if it's only $1 million fucking dollars. Like, any revenue is any revenue. So, which I think is a phenomenal idea.
You
Go
have
ahead.
actually you have a very healthy common sense outlook on it, right? Like none of us want it to take a long time, but we are okay if it does. Of course, we'd all want it to be tomorrow or next week or January. But I don't wake up every day. Well, I do wake up every day seeing if we're up 50% in pre-market, just in case. I'm not going to
That'd be
lie. I
great.
do. The first thing I do when I wake up is check and see if we're running in pre-market. So I always have that hope. But if, we need a real catalyst to kick that off, right? So it is a healthy, I think, at this point, attitude to be okay with it taking a while. Let a few more quarters go by. Let them stack up some fat stacks of box office and concession revenue, and then let's see where we're at in a quarter or two. If something happens sooner than that, fucking awesome.
Yeah,
But there are other people, Scavenger, that just do not understand how everything is intertwined. Like, I heard people saying that Hycroft was going to send AMC to the moon, give us a profitable quarter in Q3. Like, what level of, tell me you don't do due diligence without saying you don't do due diligence.
Right.
There was Hycroft. I don't know if you heard me saying this earlier, but Hycroft's impact to AMC is only based on 2 data points every 3 months. The price of the stock at the end of last quarter and the end of this quarter. If it was lower, it's going to be a negative impact on AMC's
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because we're a company owner.
It's not my opinion. I mean, it
facts.
explains it, like on about page 40, how they do the fair value calculation based on the stock price. But people are too lazy to go read, and then they lie to their viewers that Hycroft is going to rocket AMC. And I'm going to call these people out as clickbait grifters.
Yeah.
They are the true grifters because they don't know what they're talking about, and they are lying to people, and they're making video after video with misinformation, but no one ever holds them accountable. But I'm the bad guy for telling you the facts.
I mean, like I said, I mean, I think people take, when you have, in your case, Tony, or my case too, when you disagree with somebody else's opinion, obviously, I like to look at options as a great example of this. The reason I don't, this is a main reason why I don't swing options, why I've gotten burned. I don't swing options because let's say I get call options and swing them on Tesla. I'm going to be bullish on Tesla. Why? Not because Tesla's really bullish, but because I have call options and I need Tesla to go up to make money on my call options. It's the same thing with someone's ideals and the way they think about a certain stock. If I have HYMC and I bought in at 70 cents, and Tony over here is telling me that, hey, you know, Hycroft's going to drop down to 60 cents, I'm not going to fucking want to agree with you because you're going against my narrative and my emotional connection to that stock.
Someone
What do
is
we got? I
asking.
can't see it.
It says Ledger Nano S Plus. If you can't read it, and the camera might.
Oh, there we go. What is it?
Someone was asking what is the best. Now, this might not be the best, but it's good enough. I think the Ledger X is the best, but I didn't need all the functionality. I think the difference between the X and the Nano S Plus might be Bluetooth. Anyways, I have the Nano S Plus. Since I saw someone in the chat asking. And again, go check out my crypto playlist. It's in one of the last videos. I think I even compare the two.
How do you put those comments up there, Tony, that you usually do? Is that not happening tonight?
In Restream?
There's a lot of comments. I'm trying to read them as they go through, but it's like really fast.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, I just wanted you to because I was like seeing a bunch of come through, but I didn't. I was like trying. They're just coming in so fast because you're such a popular person.
That's I'm just clicking on these randomly. That's funny.
Yeah,
that's a function of Restream, which is if when I don't advise.
Okay.
It's another $50. Everything we do costs something, right? Restream's another $50 a month.
People don't realize it, do they?
Yeah, I mean, the amount I spend
I remember the other day you were like, "Oh, pays the electric bill like this."
Fintel $70 a month, Ortec $70 a month, Restream $50 a month, Streamlabs Pro, I forget. I don't even look at
just Trading View $60 a month.
Yeah, I have Trading View too.
See charts.
I mean, it's a shit ton of money to do this right.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, don't if you want to try out Restream, I think they have a free version. Even you'll get the that you won't be able to put your logo in there, and they'll have their logo on it. But just to get started, you can use Restream. There's cheap ways to do it.
Yeah, I'm in here for free right now, so I can't complain.
Yeah, you're in here on my dime. That's why
I am. Thank you, Tony. I'm gonna have to leave you a super chat next live for that. But
it's fine. I can invite. I think with my membership, I can have 10 people on the chat. So
yeah,
not a big deal.
No, Tony, I definitely appreciate you having me on though, because I've been wanting to get on here for a while with you, and obviously there's always going to be things people disagree on, but I would say the way you and I kind of correspond with our thinkings are pretty accurate. And I would say I'm a little more bullish on, I'm a little more, you're a little more factual when it comes to things based off the information that's given. But I would say overall, we pretty much agree on a lot of the things. And
look, I don't think anyone should underestimate how bullish I am.
I know
if you saw how red I am in my portfolio, you would on my AMC, you would say that fucker is a diamond-handed bastard.
Yeah.
But Scavenger, I think the thing that I do, I try and take very seriously my responsibility to the viewers, having a growing channel and wanting to be here, well past this play, to be factual as I can on what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
they will fucking, what's a nice way? They will rake you over the coals. That's a nice way of saying it. They will rake you over the coals if you intend on doing this over, over an extended period. If you're constantly putting out bad information, eventually that, that comes home to roost. So although you guys see me being very factual and very like reserved and measured in what I say, they get me on the phone, Scavenger, where I'm not being held accountable to thousands of people. It might be a little different story. I can.
Well, all
be
you got to
more,
do is call me. My phone's always open, so I would love to have a phone call with you. For sure. I'm sure you can tell by you seem like someone who's a pretty good judgment of character, especially being someone who's been high up in businesses and an investor for a long time. I'm sure you can look at me and you've already developed a thought on if Scavenger's a fucking idiot or if he's an intelligent young man. So I would love to have
I can tell just by talking with you, especially now where I get to interact with you. You are intelligent by your videos. I think this guy's a rampaging bull through a china shop. This is a relentless bull. But I see the intelligence and the common sense behind your personality now. Pam, the trader, are you capable of having a shot with me right now? Pam says she wants to have a drink with me. I've got my glass ready.
That's great.
I've got my glass ready, Pam.
I love that. That's funny.
Pam, you let me know and we'll do a shot. Someone's saying, Scavenger, take a mango shot. Do you have...
All I have is Tito's vodka for Moscow meals. I don't know if that would be good for a shot. Vodka?
Yeah, why not?
Would it?
John's Day Trade says, do I have a LLC, S Corp, Section 475? I have, John, several LLCs. My YouTube channel doesn't make enough money to worry about that right now. But for my other businesses, yes, I have LLCs. Where's Pam? Okay, Pam has Patron. Hang on, Pamela. I brought this bottle over just for you.
Wow.
We're going to drink tequila together. Ooh, oh boy. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to give a couple seconds to all the dickless wonders on Twitter to get their screen caps ready. Tony Denaro's drinking again, guys. Yes, ladies. You pink pantied wearing men. Tony Denaro, a grown ass man in his 50s, is going to have a drink in his own house.
Oh, you're not that old. Come on.
I'm 54 in real life, but they love screenshotting
in real life.
And they love screenshotting. They love screenshotting when I have a drink. Tony's getting drunk again. I guess, I guess if you never drink, this must seem shocking that a grown ass man might have a shot in his own house.
Yeah.
Here's to Pam and fuck the haters. And no chaser, because that's how a man does it.
Exactly. Scav took a water shot. Absolutely. Guys, I got to wake up tomorrow. All right, for work. So, and I got to wake up in the morning and head to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. So too much alcohol.
Not good.
Not good. It dries you out. What?
In all fairness, that is my first shot in the most
but a guy like
most recent 4 hours.
A guy like you in your middle age, 50s, I'm supposed to respect my elders, which 70% of people don't do. So I have respect for you. If you want to take a shot, Tony, I condemn that, or I'm good with that, and I support that any day. I'll never judge that. So hopefully one day in person we can do a shot together. But shotgunning a beer, I'd put your ass to shame, buddy.
You probably would. I'm not going to claim that as my look. I know my weaknesses. Shotgunning a beer is not my strong suit. Scarlett may give you a run for your money on that.
We'll go for it.
It's not something I've frequently, maybe never seen her do, but I just have a feeling that she might have done that once or twice before I met her. She strikes me as that type of girl.
Yeah. Oh no, you got to do another shot, Tony.
Why?
Angelina ATF wants a shot.
I don't know. Angelina, did she ask? We've
I'm
been
seeing a lot
fighting
of
haters
comments about
tonight.
it.
Angelina, you got to promise me you're actually going to take a shot. I know Pam took one. I trust Pam. And I do trust you, Angelina. I made you a mod, but I need to know that we're on the same level of trust, that you will actually take a shot. Don't trick me.
I think I have faith in her, Tony. I think you got this. So
I need to see her say it.
my take on tequila, believe it or not, Tony, and tell me if you can I hope you can somewhat agree with me on this a little bit. Maybe I just don't have a taste in alcohol, but I've always been a beer guy. But tequila taste how a cigarette ashtray smells. What's your take on that?
Say that again. What tequilas?
Tequila taste how cigarettes in an ashtray smell.
I don't know what kind of tequila you're buying.
Fried
No,
sheep.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe mezcal or some cheap. This is some good stuff. This is very
Is
smooth.
it?
And Patron also. I don't know. You probably weren't around when I had Scavenger a 10 bottle or so collection of different high-end tequilas, because pre-COVID we were going to do a blind
Yeah.
tequila taste testing, because I will maintain to my death. And but I'm happy to find something different. I have yet to find for my own palate a tequila that is smoother than just regular Patron. And I've tried many. And by the way, guys, little segue real quick.
Okay.
Pro tip: if you're at a bar, I cannot tell you how many bartenders, especially the females, have given me a free fucking shot at tequila by saying these words. Sweetie, what type of tequila do you like? What do you recommend behind the bar? Because I have yet to find one better than Patron. Oh, well, here, let me give you a free shot of my favorite. You know how many times that's worked for me, Scavenger? More than you would believe. Guys, go try it. Let me know this weekend.
Repeat that first part. What's the pickup line?
It's not a pickup line. It's a free drink line. Just tell the bartender in the sweetest way possible that you are looking for her or his recommendation for a better Patron than a better tequila than Patron. You have yet to find one. 75% of them have given me a free shot of their favorite to try. Pro tip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that hard to please. I'm a Coors Light drinker, and I've heard your take on it, Tony. Bottom of the barrel down there in Texas.
I never said that.
But let me tell you,
I never said that about Coors Light. I like a Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
I said Lone Star is bottom. Lone Star is my budget drink.
We don't even have that here in Michigan, Lone Star. I think I would say bottom of the barrel here in Michigan is probably I would say it's between Budweiser and PBR, the Blue Ribbon stuff. Between those two, those are like, if you're drinking those beers, you're saving.
I don't really drink those, but I'm not opposed to free Budweiser at a party. Or
I'll drink whatever.
Yeah, for free anything, fuck, I'll take it. But
yeah,
if we are, if we're out on a night out and it's a dancing night, cowboy hats and boots, and if we're drinking beer because we want to stay on our feet while we're dancing, we'll both typically buy Miller Lite. It's not like really high end, right? And we'll kick it up a notch every couple of hours. We'll kick it up with a shot of something, just to keep things humming along at the right level. I don't like drinking a lot of beer when I'm out, because then you're always having to run to the bathroom. I don't want to do that.
Right, you break the seal. I totally agree.
So
totally agree.
Miller Lite's kind of like my standard beer. Scarlett likes IPAs, so that if we have beer in the house, it tends to be IPAs. But I'm more of a whiskey guy.
Something I can't get into, man. I've had some top shelf whiskey on the rocks, man, and I drink it, and it's like I don't know what it is with me. I've tried to do it because I'm a cigar smoker. I love cigars, and I drink whiskey, and I'm like I don't know. I just but you make me a Moscow Mule or like mixed
Oh
drinks, I
yeah,
love them. You
yeah.
know,
Moscow Mule's good.
Moscow Mules. Oh, but I
And
just straight
just so we're
whiskey.
clear, just I enjoy a Coors Light, a Silver Bullet, no problem with it. I will order that from time to time, no problem with it at
He's
all.
scavenger approved, everybody, if you're watching.
Yep,
Just kidding. But you are scavenger approved. You've been from the start, but you know what I mean.
I
Even if you
appreciate
didn't
that.
like Coors Light, I'd still love you at the end of the day. So does your AMC, I've seen on your community tab, you going to your AMC? Do you guys have a bar in yours or no?
We do.
Do
Yep,
you? Yeah.
McGuffin's Bar.
Okay. Only two
I
drinks though, right?
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know. We usually, if it's a movie where we're going to drink a beer, we'll go get one beer when we're walking in. I've never ordered more than two.
okay.
And I did just recently learn by accident that McGuffin's Bar, McGuffin is a film term. And I think all the AMC
Hmm.
bars are called McGuffins. But I always see McGuffin's Bar when I'm in AMC. And then I was watching a show. What was that movie, guys? Was it called X? The one with the people that were filming a porno in the farmhouse, and then they recently released this movie to AMC with the prequel to that. Anyways, in that movie, it was a film crew, and he's like, I don't want to MacGuffin this. He had some line. I was like, now I must know what is a MacGuffin.
So it was a little Easter egg.
It is, yeah. For anyone, I'm not going to ruin it for you. Go look it up. It's an old Hitchcock reference.
I'll check that
But
out.
in all my decades of acting, Scavenger, no one ever told me what a MacGuffin was. Probably because I haven't done decades of acting. But I'm bumped.
Tony, if I were a famous movie writer, I would let you act for me any day. So not fan crushing over here. I know Yuka's in here telling me I got a crush on you and stuff, but
I
not
think
the
Yuka has
case.
a crush on you because
I'm thinking so.
you look like Mr. Beast. He's secretly he's trying to get your attention.
I get a lot of people who say Mr. Beast, but when my beard's like grown out, I get a lot of who's the guy who plays Doctor Strange? Something Cumberbatch or what's his name? But anyways, I say I look like that guy too, but my beard has to be right. But I was actually gonna be him for Halloween, but it didn't work out just because I lost ambition. But yeah, it's funny. I like hearing everybody. It's crazy when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can't relate to anybody else, but other people can look at you and be like, "Oh, you look like so and so," like blah blah blah. Like it's just funny. But
My
honest,
dream is one day someone will tell a movie star that they look like Tony Denaro. Do you?
they will.
I'm just kidding. That'll never
What's your
happen.
plans for tonight? Are you streaming for a while, or how late are you streaming till?
I was planning on doing like, as long as people want to hear someone talk or they have
Yeah,
questions. I see a lot of people talking amongst themselves.
they
If they're
are.
having fun and I'm having fun, what the fuck do I got to do in the morning? Just wake up for pre-market.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm probably gonna hop off,
All right.
just because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. But I'm gonna throw you up on the 95-inch flat screen TV, one of a kind, to put your face up there and hear what you have to say tonight. But Tony, honestly, I hope we get to do this again. If you enjoyed talking to me, and I would be honored to come back on again, or vice versa. And I really do appreciate us finally being able to meet each other. So thank you for everything you do to this community, and um, keep it up, and don't let people get under your skin, because you definitely do a lot more for this whole movement than I think you do. So I
Nope.
appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking time out of your evening. Nobody gets under my skin. What gets under my skin is they will lie and don't have the balls. All of these guys have my phone number, Scavenger.
Yep.
You know how many of these pussies ever called me?
None.
Yeah. Little
Well, I'm gonna get
rednecks.
your phone number, and I'm gonna be that first person to call you. I'll tell you that right now. So I appreciate it, buddy. But I'll have you
Anytime,
up
my
on my
friend.
TV. Hey, absolutely. I'm glad I have your Twitter and stuff. So we'll stay in communication, and I look forward to watching the rest of the night. And appreciate you, man. And
Have a beautiful evening. Keep the
yeah,
faith. Rock on. AMC strong. Go Apes.
you too, and everybody in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Thanks, Tony, again.
Take care.
Peace out, buddy.
All right, guys. Back. Thank you, Scavenger, for coming in. There are a few other people that have invites to come on tonight, guys. You're welcome to come in the chat. If I sent you an invite, feel free to stop in. Different people are in different time zones, so I know, everybody has a life and things going on. Meanwhile, if not, I'm happy here to answer you guys' questions about stocks, economy, dating younger women, or just whatever y'all want to talk about. This is open mic. You guys are driving the agenda. Richard Desch says, can I comment on FTX? Richard, I would, harken back to the videos I did a few months back during the whole Voyager scandal. I have a crypto playlist. Go back and watch some of those about protecting your crypto, not keeping your money on an exchange, not trusting any stable coin, not trusting these fucking exchanges. And there will be people that lose all of their money in FTX, and it's a damn shame, and it was unavoidable. It was avoidable, but people don't know how to take the proper precautions. I try and do my little part with the 200 people that watch me to spread the word, but get yourself a cold storage wallet. Don't be a victim. Somehow I've managed to avoid every single one of these. I've not been caught in any of them. But I consider myself lucky. I had some crypto in Coinbase, and when they were a little shaky a while back, I moved everything out of Coinbase. And I have a little bit on other exchanges and most of it in cold storage. So that is my words to the wise to you on FTX. It's a fucking shame. There's going to be a lot of people that lose money, but I think it's pretty much that play is over at this point. It's done. I hope they, maybe they'll get a Hail Mary from somebody, but considering who was going to buy them out or rescue them, Binance backed out. Not looking good. Junior asked, what is my favorite whiskey? Junior, I generally buy a different bottle every time. I'm going to be honest. But I'm typically buying either a Scotch or a rye bourbon. My kind of like everyday drink, if I'm just trying to save a little bit of money, be Johnny Walker Black. Not big into vodka. I have this tequila bottle here, but I mostly use that if Scarlett doesn't like whiskey shots. She will do a tequila shot, and she likes margaritas. So I mostly have this Hornitos for making margaritas. New Mega says, y'all keep me going at a long night at my job. Thank you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to be your entertainment for the evening. Muskie Doge says, my wife is about 9 years younger. How do I get her out of the jealousy stage? I don't know. I mean, I think Muskie, that is personality dependent. Scarlett is younger than me. You would think that, she would think that she has the advantage and she wouldn't be jealous, but she is extremely jealous. I don't know that you could do anything about it. She watches her house like a hawk. But she's she's got a good head on her shoulders. As long as you're not being sneaky about something. Don't be signing up on no OnlyFans and not telling her. Brian says Adam Aaron cannot win no matter what he does, right? Kind of like most YouTubers, Brian. No matter what Adam Aaron does, I guarantee you, about anything, half the audience is going to hate him. Had he sold Ape the first day, they would have crushed him for that. Yes, but in retrospect, it's easy for them to say, how dare you sell at $244? They would have fucking obliterated him if he sold it on day one at $10. You're absolutely right, Brian. He has a thankless job. McAllen 18 CB. Yes. I have had that, not recently. And as you guys know, I think I put them up on the screen or talked about them a few weeks ago. I recently branched back out into Irish whiskeys. Just because it's been so long since I've tried these like unique Irish whiskeys. But I will always be a Scotch guy. Wasn't always. I grew up drinking in my younger days rum and Coke, Bacardi and Coke. So easy to drink. And then I went into a gin martini phase for a long time. And then I discovered a real man's drink. Not that there's anything wrong with the rest, right? Everything depends on your palate and maybe your age. But once I got into Scotch and whiskeys where I realized I could just sip on it slowly, I rarely do shots like you guys see me doing. It's more like, pour a shot and sip it over an hour, just kind of ease into the evening. And to be honest, unless I'm on camera with you guys, I don't drink. So I know everybody thinks I'm an alcoholic. I am, for those of you that know me, I'm very into a healthy lifestyle. So drinking is not part of my normal day. I'm just trying to help you guys have a good time and give the haters something to make sure, if the haters take a picture of me drinking, hello, thank you, free advertising. What is this? Oh, I need to go check this guy out. I love it. That's why I wear this hat too. I heard one of them the other day on his live stream. Oh, may contain whiskey. I wouldn't trust that guy. They don't realize I'm trolling them wearing this hat. It's so easy. So fucking easy. Long Island iced tea, Carl. On a Halloween way back in my early 20s, I had a bad experience with some Long Island iced teas. I don't know that I could ever go back. In my life, the number of times that I have visited the porcelain bowl after a night of drinking is probably 2. And one of them was due to vodka and one was due to Long Island teas. So that might explain why I'm not a big vodka person now. But 2 Long Island teas should not have done anything to me. What are my thoughts on XRP and XLM for a long hold? I don't own either one, Anthony. Couldn't tell you. For whatever reason, when I researched them, when I was buying and rebuying crypto in 2020 and 2021, I elected not to buy those. Have I ever tried a Hungarian palinka? I have not. It sounds dirty, Gorilla. What aircraft did I work on, Tim? We had F4s initially, and then we got F-16As. The F4s is like working on a 67 Camaro, and then the F-16s is like getting upgraded to a Corvette. but it was a different airframe, but the equipment that we had was hung on a pod underneath the aircraft wing. So my job didn't really change. I just had to learn. We did have to get in the cockpit, turn the plane on, not the engines, but the electronics, which was the funnest thing, pretending you're a pilot. Get in the cockpit of a F-16 by yourself. That's a fun day. Angelina said I did that with a bottle of my father's Kahlua. Wait, Angelina. Wait. How, you threw up on Kahlua? Angelina, I honestly don't know now if you can drink shots with me. I know you said you don't have alcohol right now, but if you're throwing up on Kahlua, Angelina, I don't know if you're on my level. I don't drink a lot, but I am a professional. What is a good affordable city to move to that's up and coming? Guys, help them out. Where's my real estate people? You guys, I'm not keeping up with other states. I know for a while it was North Dakota. Anywhere in Midwest. Whether or not that is up and coming, I could not tell you. What is my opinion on where we're at in the overall downturn of the market? Double. That is an excellent question. Clearly, I don't want this to, I did not want this to last through the end of this year, but now we're almost at the end of this year, and the Fed is indicating that they're going to continue raising rates. And once they're done raising rates, they might remain flat and high for a while. So now I'm starting to think we might be stuck in this morass all the way through 2023. I hate saying that on camera because no one wants to hear that. But that could be the reality we're faced with. I'm ready and anxious to get back to a bull market as much as you guys are. But the reality is, until the Fed starts cutting rates, it's going to be really tough for this entire market to rally. So you need to be really diligent about finding swing plays or day trade plays and be very judicious about which ones you get in. If you missed the initial run up, don't fucking buy in at the top. If it was a 60-cent stock that ran to $5, you say $5 is still cheap. No. Nope. Pass. There'll be another one next week. There's always another one. That goes for dating too. There's always another one. I don't want to see any tears from anybody. Somebody broke up with you. There's always another one, guys. Guys and ladies, the sooner you internalize that, the more bulletproof you'll be in your dating life. Cold-blooded and emotionless. CB, I think there is a good chance that the run could extend until tomorrow. Asking about the prediction on the Dow tomorrow, but CB, I will also tell you, I'm not 100% confident in that, and I also don't know that it will last more than a few days. And because of that, because I can't tell you, and because of my fear that this run up today was overdone, I bought puts on the SPY today that expire on the 14th, just in case. If this was a run up and it topped out, I bought them at the end of the day today, like 2:50 p.m. my time, 10 minutes before the market closed. Now, if it runs up tomorrow on Monday, obviously I'm going to lose that money. But if things take a tumble tomorrow or Monday, then I get a little bonus. And that's how I feel about it. I don't know. I got my entire portfolio on the green side. So if the market runs, beautiful. I got plenty of stuff waiting to move into higher green territory. But there's not many opportunities. I feel like, I feel it's probably going to turn back down. This might be overdone. You guys, if you watch me regularly, I don't trade a lot of index options, and I did get some puts at the end of the day today. Scavenger says he's doing a shot of Tito's. Now, come on, Scavenger. Are you pulling my leg now? You got to tell me in another message that you're serious, that you have a drink and it's ready to go on your word of honor. RK, good night. Much love. Thank you. Tomorrow we ride, Rand says. Do I think this is the right time to buy a car? I don't. Not for myself. Wolverine. I've been milking my vehicle, not like milking, but I've been milking the miles out of it, waiting for car prices to come down. And I haven't checked on it recently, but you guys know the news. Maybe it's changed. Tell me. I haven't looked at new car prices in the past month. But we were in this situation where you couldn't buy a new car because they didn't have parts. And because of that, the used car prices were going through the roof. I haven't heard that that's changed. So if you could put it off, that might be the smarter play. For my own life, I'm putting it off. My car's not that old, it's old for me. It's a 2014. And it has a lot of miles, but it's still perfectly functional. It looks nice. And at some point, I'm going to buy a brand new F-250. But I guess I'm waiting either for that next really big stock run up where I can say, all right, I can treat myself, or for prices to get in a reasonable range where I actually have a chance to negotiate something. I cannot stand car dealers. No offense, car dealers. Hello, car dealers. Doing my little Lou. R. Baglio says, I've been enjoying honey whiskeys over ice. You guys on the chat recently turned us on to peanut butter whiskeys. Scarlett cannot get enough of that shit. Peanut butter whiskey. Whoever would have thought that was a thing? Now, every time we're out of peanut butter whiskey. Can you pick one up next time you go to the store? What? You drank it all on last night's live stream? Honey whiskeys. I have had them. I don't. It's not something I have right now. Is it bad for AMC that the CPI number we got today was low? I mean, the CPI number, Bill A, that went up, right? It was just a little bit lower than expected. So what we'd like to see is consumer price index and inflation going down. It's bad for any company, just about, that the inflation keeps going up. And it did go up. Make no mistake, the headlines screamed about how, inflation might be stopping. The report was higher. That was what was so funny. That's why I think this run up today may have been a bit overdone. It's still going up, and that's not good for anybody. CB says thank you to the moderators for keeping most of the crazies out of here. Thank you, CB. Have a good evening. Carl J says used car prices started to drop. I've been seeing thumbnails saying that, I haven't watched the videos because I'm not trying to buy a used car right now. And there's nothing wrong with buying used cars. I've bought plenty of used cars, but the next one I buy is going to be new because I keep them. I keep them, till they have a couple 100,000 miles on them. It doesn't matter to me. But that thumbnails I've seen have been saying, the used car apocalypse is upon us. Repos are through the roof. Is that true? Junior says he's drinking some peanut butter whiskey. Screwball now. When we were in Nashville, Junior, we were picking up some little shots to stuff in our boots. You guys might have seen the picture. We got fed up paying downtown Nashville drink prices, $9 for a Miller Lite. Scarlett's like, screw this. Let's go to the liquor store and buy some shots to put in our boot. That was her idea. That's how good my wife is. How can I save us money? Let's buy some shots and stuff it in our boot. I was like, all right, I'm down with that. She felt bad about whatever. I don't even know if she knew how much the fireballs she was ordering cost, but she knew how much the final tab was every night. She's like, can we just buy some fireball and stuff it in our boots? God, I love that. That is a good woman. What are my thoughts on BBBY? I'm not ready to touch it yet. I did own it until the day, the evening that Ryan Cohen sold. If you go back and watch our live stream, we were telling you guys to sell BBBY. Actually, I might be getting confused with BBIG. I don't know that I think I had some, I need to go back and look in the Discord or my account. I know Steven had some shares of BBY. I'm thinking that I had calls on BBBY, but I know I had them on BBIG, and I sold those right before it dropped too. I can't remember for sure on BBBY, but I know in the live stream, without a doubt, that I said on the day that it was running up at that top, I said, this is topping out. I did not know that Ryan Cohen was going to drop in after hours form saying that he was selling. I did not know that. I just looked at the chart and I said, this is topping out. Got a lot of hate. And then the form dropped. It crashed. Unless people wanted to say, well, maybe he's not really selling. No. If he filed the form, he's selling. I did see, so I don't have any interest in buying BBBY until they sort their nonsense out. There was a filing today on Bed Bath & Beyond that I just briefly scanned through. It said that if I were, again, speed read through it, what I remember that it said, or what I got from reading it really quickly, is it looked like a lender was taking some debt and trading it for shares, a couple million shares. BBBY is in trouble. They need to fix their debt issues, and I'm not ready to buy it yet. I've made no secret that I do not like big box retail stores that sell inventory. Coming from someone who's owned a retail store. Again, something we've talked about here many times, that the people on Twitter think they're revealing. Oh, Tony Denaro owned a retail store. No shit, dumbasses. I've owned a lot of businesses. Talk about them too. Why don't you come in and ask some questions? It sucks to own brick and mortar with retail, with inventory. And because of my experience, I am very hesitant to buy stocks of retail big box stores. I know how easily they can get tripped up and how thin their margins are. As far as is it a potential meme trade? For me, there's much better potential meme trades than a company in that condition. Quan's asking about tokenized stocks. I'm assuming these are the ones on FTX. I am going to go. I looked at those when they came out. There's some other. Where is FTX located? It was in Bahamas. There's some other tokenized stocks trading in Germany for AMC and GameStop. I don't think that's the same thing, but yeah, I'm gonna read up on that. I'm not. It's not something I feel confident enough talking about in specifics of FTX and how they had them collateralized. I don't know the answers to that, but I did say earlier that I'm going to look into it because there have been several people that that have been asking about that. Any chance they were short on AMC? Absolutely. Of course, anybody could be short on AMC. Now, if they, if they, who knows? Unfortunately, we will never know because nobody has to report their shorts. I would presume, DevStat, with a tokenized stock, just like the Brazilian BDRs, they have to be backed by something. No, there are not 513 million shares of AMC down in Brazil. That is utter nonsense that keeps on getting repeated. Go back and watch my last Brazil video. I did 3 of them. The last one has all the answers a year ago. But what you see reported in Brazil is the market cap because they have to equate it to AMC. But if you look at the volume, it's like 5 or 10,000 shares a day. They need just enough stock to collateralize the BDRs that they're selling. And they have to be backed up by something. These BDRs, Brazilian depository receipts, have to be backed up by stock held at a custodial bank. And I would presume, but I can't say without looking into it, that tokenized crypto should be doing the same thing. Are they doing the same thing? Stay tuned. I'll find out. San Diego laundromats. You know what absolutely slayed me about owning a retail store with inventory was getting the fucking tax bill from the county for unsold inventory. Like, why the fuck are you taxing me annually for unsold inventory? You robbing fucks. Things you learn when you start up businesses that you didn't know. Yuka, you are so popular. You should sell NFTs. Hey, Yuka, you're not going to believe this. The hotel we stayed at in Nashville, right across the street was a frickin' Puerto Rican restaurant. And I told Scarlett, I didn't notice it till the second day. I was like, we have to go there and eat. Get some mofongo or some fried tostones or some fried yuca. And we never frickin' made it because every day we slept in and then someone was inviting us to lunch. Or we had planned lunches as a part of the event that we were there for. God damn it. So pissed about that. If you guys have not tried fried yuca, now don't fry this yuca in the chat, but fried yuca, if you can find a Caribbean or does Colombian restaurants have fried yuca? I know any Caribbean one will. Peruvian will also. And Scarlett lost her phone. Yes. Scarlett lost her phone in the last 6 hours of our trip. Have I discussed DWAC? We talked about it briefly earlier. Chico, I can give you a quick recap. And we talked about it in this afternoon's live. I've done some videos about DWAC in the past. My take on it is a a speculative play. Lordy, the haters hate it when I say something speculative. Like, guys, look, speculative. When I say speculative, I want you to hear that as more risky than your average play. There is zero fundamentals to base this investment off of. In my world, on this channel, when we say speculative, I want you to hear much more risky than your average play. But Tony, every play is speculative. No shit, dumbass. Speculative is much more risky than a normal play. You're speculating on a whim and a prayer. There is zero to back up DWAC other than news. DWAC lives and dies off of news until the SPAC merger is complete, and they've rebooted it like 6 times now. So next week you got to flip the coin and say to yourself, is Donald Trump going to make an announcement that is going to shoot this thing to the moon, or is he not? Because by that flip of the coin, you're gonna rake it in. Even at this price, I think it'd be okay. Or you're going to go back down to probably maybe lower than 15. I don't know that I'm willing to take that gamble on DWAC at $22, but I'm more conservative than some other channels. I really hate losing money. If it drops back down to 16 before he makes his announcement, I'd take a shot. I didn't see if Scavenger answered me. Did he say he swore on his oath that he was going to take a Tito's shot? I might have missed that chat. Good night, Angelina. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for modding. Appreciate you. All right, Scavenger, are you still here? I will do one more just for you for coming in the chat, in the live stream tonight. If you're still here, he might have already fallen asleep. All right, he says, let's do this. All right, you pink-panted Twitter users, get your screen caps ready. One last chance to screenshot me having a drink. Oh, Lordy, a grown man having a drink in his own house. Scavenger, let's fucking go. Fuck the haters, chat. Scavenger, on your channel, on mine. Fuck all the haters on Trey's channel. Matt Kors, well, he probably deserves it, but fuck all the rest. Cheers, brother. That's some goodness, Scavenger. You need to try this. Hornitos Reposado. No ashtray taste. I don't know what tequila your friend was drinking that told you tequila tastes like an ashtray, but you need new friends. Gatsby says, what's the latest? Am I being attacked? I mean, Gatsby, there's people on Twitter and YouTube thinking they're revealing stuff. Meanwhile, we've been talking about it here for 18 months. That all they're revealing is their stupidity, their pettiness, their psycho stalker side. I feel sad for them. We just laugh at it. Crown Black, Prometheus, I love it. Been a while since I've bought some Crown. I might have to add that to my next shopping list. Pam the Trader on her third Patron. You're doing it right, Pam. Don Julio's good stuff. Jose. Junior, thank you. All right, guys. This is your chance. It's a quiet night to ask some questions. Everybody wants to know what? Do I hold GameStop? Yes. Do I own Highcroft? Yes. Shares and options. Have I bought AMC or Ape recently? Yes. Bought Ape yesterday, $1.29. What else? What else you got? Do I own Mullen? I do not. Looking for 25 cents on Mullen. What else have I bought recently? Amazon, 88 bucks. What am I looking at? I'm looking at Disney. I'm looking at Meta. Not so sure about Meta. Long-term plays. I like big, good companies that are getting beaten down, because my timeline is much longer than your average YouTubers when I'm analyzing a play. I like a sure thing, and I'm fucking patient as hell. I take a percentage of my portfolio and I speculate with that, but the bulk of the shit I like to buy is big, solid companies with a history of increasing revenues. And when they stumble, I'm ready to pounce. When they stumble, they tend to stumble big. Six Sun asking, is it going to be a green day tomorrow or not? Six Sun, I certainly hope so. I think so, but I also am very suspicious of this run up being a little bit overdone, a little bit quick. I think some shorts got burned. I think they're going to want to try and reestablish, whether they reestablish in the morning or they get routed all day tomorrow, which would be beautiful. At some point, they're going to try and reestablish and push it back down. And the market makers are going to be like, all right, we fucked all these guys with puts. Now let's screw them with calls. Just like Scavenger said earlier, I see that happen a lot. You guys have seen that happen. So just in case, Six Sun, I did buy some SPY puts at the very end of the market today. If the market goes up, if all of our stocks go up, I'm good. That's my broad portfolio going up. If it runs back down, well, I'm holding that other shit anyway, so I don't care if it goes back down, but I will make money on the SPY puts. And I gave myself a couple days to be right. Our Baglio, I have done a video on Polestar. Go check that one out, including a test drive, photos, some videos. We have a dealership here. Went and talked to them, sat in a car. I like the company. They're leagues ahead of other competitors like a Mullen. Why? Because they're building cars in multiple countries. They're selling cars. You need to keep track of their sales velocity and their sales volume and make sure every quarter that everything's increasing. You need to keep an eye on that. But I like what I saw. It might be time for me to do an update on them. It's been the last time I did it was when they were changing the ticker. Everybody loves a good Polestar. San Diego Laundromat says, I've loaded up on mega cap companies for the next 5 years. I don't want to regret not buying in this market. I feel safe in saying, and I don't offer many guarantees, your future self will thank you for buying solid companies in a market like this. Why is Illis down for before the rip? I didn't look at Illis today. And that is not a company that I've ever traded, because every time I've looked at it, it just didn't speak to me. It is, I have it on my watch list for retail momentum trading. Let me look at their financials real quick and remind myself why I didn't like it. It's not even letting me see the income statements. I can't comment on it. What is this? The Illis files, Form 12G. Audited revenues for the year ending 2021 of 11 million. 19 million net revenue in the second quarter of 2022. That's a healthy increase. I need to go look at their financials. I can't give you a good answer without digging into it a little more. Do I own crypto, Darthman? I do own crypto. I have a crypto playlist on my channel. Go check some of those out. We talk about crypto from time to time. I have a dollar cost average buy set up on Ethereum, but just because of the, these repeated, I didn't do anything after Voyager, but these repeated exchanges going bankrupt. I said today in the live stream, and I said last night in the Discord, that I liquidated part of my crypto holdings for a couple days until I see what happens with the with FTX, because I'm a little bit more nervous than normal that there could be a 40% drop. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not telling you what to do. I've been holding all the way through this downturn and adding, but some of my I did not sell my Ethereum, but some of my smaller coins, I did not sell my Phantom, some of my other stuff. I just to lighten the burden, the me hating myself if it crashes, I put some of it in cash for a few days. If the FTX thing resolves itself, I'll just go back in and buy. Do I ever watch Charlie's videos? Six Sun, I did a year ago. To be honest, I'm not kidding when I say I don't watch other YouTubers' channels. I just don't have the time. I have not watched any of his recently. Too late to buy in Highcroft right now. Can it be? I don't think so. I think, I don't know why it ran up today. Can it be? Might have been general bullishness in the market, gold and silver prices going up, maybe some short covering. I think, when the next news comes out about their next core samples, that'll be the next opportunity for it to get a little bump. What happens between now and then, I don't know. Is it going to go back to 65? Is it going to go up to $1? Hard to say. I'm looking, my timeline on Highcroft is like several years. So what happens in the intermediate time between now and then, it's going to be all over the place. I have a standing good till canceled order just in case it dips to add more at 50 cents. But I'm ecstatic about the run up to 80. What did it go to today? 84. Scavenger, cheers, bottoms up. Get some good sleep. Now, 2 shots of tequila, you will sleep well, my friend. Last night, I was having trouble falling asleep. I took 2 Benadryl, And I poured a double shot of tequila and set it on the nightstand next to me. Woke up and the tequila was still there. Thank God the Benadryl worked. But Scavenger, a couple shots every now and then doesn't hurt as a little extra kicker. Six Sun says he predicted the upstart and AMC run. I mean, great. Everything ran today, Six Sun. I don't, if you only pick two stocks, I'm glad he got it right, but everything ran because of the CPI data. You go watch the market wrap up video. There were many stocks that ran 20% today. I don't think it was anything specific about those other than, like I said, AMC was clearly oversold. It's pretty heavily shorted. They were out of shares. I was looking at Interactive Brokers, 0 shares available to lend, cost to borrow 75%, average 340% max. Like I said on the Discord last night, AMC, all it needed was one bit of good news, and we fucking got it this morning with that CPI data. It was ready to rip. And I'm loving it. All of these stocks that ran today, loving it. Screw these negative Nellies buying puts and shorting the market. Steven says, just woke up from a nap. Man. Scavenger's going to miss work tomorrow from us. If we start seeing him more on YouTube, Pam will know why. If I get a chance to read Bigham's latest tweets, let me see what he tweeted. Oh, tokenized stocks. All right. That's why everyone's asking about that. All right. That is my homework for tonight. As long as I can stay awake once we get done here, I'm going to look into this tokenized stock thing again. Do I have an opinion on Gov, Canoe? I have not done a deep dive on them roadside, so I cannot give you really an informed answer on them. I have it on my watch list. Have not looked into them enough to give you any sort of answer that would be worthwhile to you. I said my stated goal back when I did the Polestar video is to try and get one EV company video out a month and kind of work my way through all of them. I think, in the next week, since Mullen is so hot right now, that I probably will do that one next, although nobody's going to like it. I can guarantee you that, because I'm going to bring my usual conservative fact look at it. It's maybe a good speculative play. He's using that word speculative again. It's riskier than a normal play because they have no revenue. They're not doing anything till 2024. But it's fucking cheap. But on the other hand, they have more dilution coming. It's a hot mess, Mullen. I think the people that are counting on Mullen mooning or ignoring the shares outstanding going to 2.25 billion. I think they're ignoring the fact that no revenue is coming in until 2024. So I think if you're able to look out that far and you're able to pick up Mullen cheap now and weather the next year, you could be okay with Mullen. I don't know that it will run up to $4 or $5 or $100 like some people are saying in the next month. I don't see how that's physically possible. But if they make it all the way into production and start cranking out cars and you're able to buy it for 30 cents, I think you'll be okay. I said earlier that I would buy Mullen at 25 cents. It got down to 25.2511. And being a man of my word, I still did not buy it. But I will. If it drops to a quarter, I'll buy it. I might still take a loss on that because of the volatility. But when it comes back down, I will grab some. I like having a few speculative plays for, you never know when some news item is going to send it shooting up. Illis or Mullen, what's the best now? I can't pull up the financials on Illis. Let me check a different site. Let me check Morningstar. Where's all the 2022 data? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you expect me. There's no data. Wait, this is 2017. I don't want 2017. I'm going to need more time to figure out why this shit is not coming up. I see up here there's data. For some reason, these details, maybe I need to scroll down. Here we go. Here we go. Still no 2022 data. And Webull, same thing. No data. I can't give a good answer. CEI, Vinny, is looking better. Yeah, we did look at their financials earlier. They have done a lot of improvement over the last year since I was not as confident about them. And at 12 cents, I'm going to consider CEI. I'm going to look into that one over the weekend. I have not been a big fan of CEI other than playing it for momentum trades, but just the very quick look that I did at their financials shows that they are making strides to improve. So I'm going to give it another look. Tim says, everyone notice how pleasant the chat has been tonight since it was a green day. Yeah, the trolls, Tim, are scared to come out when AMC's run up 18%. Always like that. They always want to be here on red days, but they won't show up on the green days. All right, we're coming up on 3 hours, and I would like to be up for pre-market tomorrow. So you got 5 more minutes to get your final questions in or things that you would like me to look into. I'm going to look into the tokenized stocks. I'll look into CEI. I'll look into Illis. Prometheus says one more double shot for Tony. Oh, man. Thoughts on AVCT? Let's pull up the chart. So you don't think I'm being mean? I haven't looked at it in a few days, but the chart was not looking very good. Let's go to the hourly. Let's get rid of extended. So AVCT, was this a stocks reverse split? 31 cents. Yeah, this was a reverse split, right? 31 cents to $3. Am I right? Tell me I'm right before I keep talking. I'm pretty sure, if I recall, this was a reverse split. And then it started trending down. It had a momentum run in mid-October. So this was not really a run up from 30 cents to $3. This was a reverse split, if I'm not mistaken. Immediately, you guys, someone was saying, well, Mullen might be bullish because they might reverse split. I've seen this chart so many times where it reverse splits and then immediately sundials, another one, they immediately start coming right back down. So I'm not bullish on any reverse splits by default. My default is reverse splits are bad news. You're not going to convince me, based on looking at hundreds of these, that a reverse split is going to be good for Mullen. If they get to the point where they can't get their stock price up and they're reverse splitting, that's an act of desperation. So unless something has fundamentally changed or they're on the cusp of fundamentally changing, reverse split is going to be bad news. So this was already bad news right here. And people knew that, so it kept on going down. For some reason, I bet there were warrants or something, but for whatever reason, it got on retail traders, these smaller traders' channels, as something to pump. I don't think, all of them were part of a cabal. I think some of them get in it unwittingly, or they just jump on for the momentum. But I see this time after time, these shitty stocks that start moving. No problem with that. No problem with playing a momentum play on a shitty stock. But they get it in their head that this piece of shit stock that was at 17 cents is going to run to $100 because Microsoft's going to buy it. No, that was all a pipe dream. So you had to be out. You had to be out right here on this big red candle, and don't look back. You can forget about AVCT. Now, could I be wrong? Could a buy offer come in? Sure, there's always a chance of a Hail Mary, but if you want my opinion right now, this is dead money. Someone's going to screenshot this, in case 2 years from now there's a buyout. Remember when Tony Denaro said this? See, I told you. I diamond handed that shit that I bought at $4. I diamond handed it all the way down to 18 cents and held it for 2 years. And there was a buyout. They offered $1 per share. All right, you were right. You were right. But, I don't want to park money in losing plays like this company that's getting ground down to nothing and having to do reverse splits. I don't want to park money in those. I want to get in on the upside. I was not in AVCT. But you want to be in this first day or two and get out when it starts turning. GTII, I'm looking at you. Carl J says reverse splits are just a technique to keep the price from dropping. I'm gonna flip that on you, Carl J. They're a technique to buy the company a few more months of life. I hate to say that, but I mean a company that's getting ground down to pennies or dimes is because their finances are a wreck. And the reverse split is a way to buy them a little more time to try and fix things. But I mean, nothing fundamentally got fixed in this company. So the price got ground right back down. And it did a 10 for 1 or 1 for 10 reverse split. And now it's almost back to the original price, which means it's now like what? 1/100th of what it was back here. This is horrible. Thoughts on FTX owning AMC shares? That's my homework for tonight, Saheb. So many people have asked about it. That is my next homework. I've talked about collateralized shares, but I need to get up to speed on FTX. I'm not going to talk about something I haven't looked into recently. All right, it is now officially 3-hour evening live stream on top of live streaming all day. Thank you to Scavenger for coming on. Thank you to the mods for helping out tonight. Pam, Angelina, Javi was in earlier, I believe. Thank you to all the members and supporters of this channel. Thank you for all of you guys who can see through all this clickbait grifter nonsense that's going on with me. You know, I hope you guys go tell them when you see that, if you come across it, that this is stuff that we've openly talked about here for a long time. They're not revealing anything that nobody already knew. They're just revealing their own stupidity. And as far as I'm concerned, don't worry about it. Nobody gets under my skin. We just laugh at them. They're not hurting this channel. They're just providing it more publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. My due diligence and the things that I've said and the plays that I've talked about and the thoughts I've shared on trades, I will put that against any of these no-name clickbait grifter nonsense fucktards any day of the week. Any day. They get so mad at me for saying they're, you know, if I'm talking about something and they're talking about it and they're, I don't know, pick a stock. Sundial going to the moon. SHIB going to the moon. Read the fucking chart, dude. No, it's not. They don't like me because I have a different opinion on a play. And their only way to retaliate, because they can't do it by due diligence, is to resort to personal attacks. So that's a failure on their part. Probably goes back to their childhood. I feel sorry for them. But rest assured, they're not getting to me. Tim, thank you. Pam, Yuka, Prometheus, Jeffrey, R. Baglio, Chico, Sam, James, Stephen, Liz Clayman's Whistle. Love you guys. Be good to each other. Remember, we all have the same goal. I'm in this with you. I'm bullish on all of the plays that you're on. I'm holding all the plays that you're on. I don't know what else to say. I take a fact-based approach and I try and share the experience of someone who's been doing this and made the mistakes. And yes, I'm more conservative than some. Yes, I'm not all hopium. That doesn't mean that I'm not on your side. We are going to win. Love you guys. Have a good night.